welcome everybody to the Devil's Work podcast, a show where we watch some fucked up movies and then tell them back to you so you ain't gotta watch them, but you should. I am PsydeShow.
Maybe not this time.
Man, fuck you.
Eh,
I,
eh,
I'm
and I'm
joined by
skeptic.
yes, the most skeptical of all this
That's
episode.
that's right. That's right.
And today we have a very special guest with us, very special to me. Uh, the woman responsible for half of my face.
And then your actual mom is responsible for the other half
Yeah,
of your
yeah, the
face?
other half. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, my tattoo artist and best friend, Victoria.
Very special.
Welcome on the show, dude.
Thank you
It's
for
good
Happy
having
to
to
me.
have
have
you on,
you.
man.
I've spent a lot of time looking at your handiwork.
Yeah,
It
like exactly.
it do be pretty. It do be pretty.
Oh,
And just
Yeah,
wait till we tackle the rest of you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
not
for those
sure
on the
what
video, you could see.
exactly. Yeah, I know she did the Mallory portrait, so I'm
Yeah,
not sure what.
she did a Mallory portrait, she did my fingers,
Your
and she's done
boobies.
my lips.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, and a
because
little other
your
little
other
bit.
artist is Jerry, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know who's done what. Do you guys
Yeah,
work at the same shop?
No. I work in Anaheim and he's in Pico.
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And they have both they I mean they have bigger plans. I have plans to get her work all over my right hand. He's worked all over my left arm and face, obviously, but she's gonna get in there at some point too. She's also tattooed my ear. I
Oh
always
yeah.
forget about that one because I don't see that one all the time. I always forget that she tattooed my ear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joey doesn't really have a say in what or where he gets tattooed. We
That's
just
fair.
kind of take pictures of his body. That came out wrong. We take pictures of his body and we're like, you're getting this one next.
I
Yeah,
like that.
I'm
Chop them up.
very, very fucking fortunate. Yeah, so today we are going to be covering a very interesting one, interesting for some of us, but interesting nonetheless. It's our
It's
very
interesting. I'll
it
give it
is
that.
interesting. There we
I
go. I
will I
got
will give I will
one.
give it that. It's crazy to realize this is from before Rocky Horror.
Everything. This is one of his earlier films. This is one of
Yeah.
his earlier ones. So we are covering Phantom of the Paradise, directed and written by Brian De Palma. Very, very excited about this one. I mean, you know a De Palma film when you've seen Scarface, fucking Mission Impossible, all kinds of shit, like everything. I never imagined we'd be covering a De Palma film on this show, to be completely honest.
I'm surprised Chad let
I
you.
didn't I didn't think so either. If I knew what it was, I wouldn't have let him. If I knew what it was gonna be. But the premise sounds really interesting. It seems like it could be something like really promising. I guess I'm betraying the rating at the end of the show, but
Yeah, kind of showing your ass a little bit on this one.
for me, personally, what's right for me
Yeah, yeah.
right now,
May not be right for some.
So, no horns. Okay.
Yeah,
personally,
yeah.
personally.
So, to give a synopsis up top, a disfigured composer sells his soul for the woman who he loves so that she will perform his music. However, an evil record tycoon betrays him and steals his music to open up his rock palace, the Paradise. I think it says palace, but it's a rock opera essentially.
Yeah, he's opening. He's like this. It's so weird because he's loved like he's the rock star Swan,
Hmm.
but he's like a producer slash songwriter who like puppeteers bands and artists, and everyone is like well aware that all of these bands and artists are just puppets and like outlets for this guy's,
Vision.
creativity or whatever.
Ultimately, it comes down to Swan's vision. Yes, yes.
Yeah, like literally to the point where it kind of happens under your nose in a way, but one of the bands changes its name like three times throughout the movie because he's
Yeah.
reinventing them.
Hmm.
So it's just this weird interesting thing where like people don't even see his face because they say like someone
It's
has like
always
the
obscured.
exclusive rights, so no one's allowed to take pictures of him and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Which it comes back around. They explain that why that's the case.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually they do. But I
Mhm.
just mean in terms of just like this strange world where it's like Beyonce's 17 writers are who's famous. Not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. I
Like
got you.
that's kind of what's happening here. It's like the behind the scenes people are really famous, but then at the same time the main character is mad because he's a behind the scenes person who's not famous.
Yeah, 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 for sure. And
It's
I will say I do agree that some of the motives for some of the characters are very strange, but I think there's at the end it kind of wraps up in a way that's logical to like the progression of these characters. I feel like it reaches the ending that is most logical to the like to the how you assume the characters would go. It kind of plays on these tropes. It's very fun.
Mhm. I'm just laughing because literally at the end of the movie, the note that I made was there was no logical or thematic connection anywhere within this movie.
But I think there is, and I think that like again, like also probably with the case of like talking about it more, how we found on like Better Watch Out, might we might swing you a little bit on this one.
Yeah,
What
well,
was
I'm
your?
looking forward to talking about it.
Oh yeah,
That's for
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, what was your first interaction with this one? Because I brought you on for a reason. You're the one who kind of like
I said
championed this
yes.
movie for me.
He asked, I said yes. Um, when I first saw this movie, I was still a music major in college, and uh, the professors had brought it up, and the boyfriend at the time was like, "Oh, this is life changing, and it's something you'll really enjoy."
Mhm.
He like overly hyped it the way a lot of people will talk about stuff that they really enjoy, and I'm like, okay,
Really, how I did.
calm down, nerd. And I watched it and I was like, okay, yeah, I see it. I see
Yeah, yeah,
I see the hype in it. And then I watched Rocky Horror and I was like, hey, that's the same thing in a different font.
for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So I I enjoy musicals. I am one of those obnoxious people that will sit there and sing along with it. I enjoy the dark and the macabre, and so any opportunity where they kind of mix uh, is always a fun time for me.
Yeah, yeah. No, and this one does a great job. I think this was like the fact that it's billed as a horror comedy, like when you look it up too, is very interesting. I think that's a good hook right off the bat because you do think like Rocky Horror is a really good one to bring up in this conversation. I don't know if you can compare the two really because they're kind of like their own standalone things. I would see where the argument could be made for that, but I feel for me, I never grew up like I was trying to find a way to bring this up on the show. Thank you for that. I never grew up with Rocky Horror Picture Show or the Phantom of the Paradise. I never grew up with both of these either of these musicals. I never like had them on in my life. So I feel like if I would have grown up with them, the nostalgia factor would have probably overturned a lot of my opinion.
Mhm.
But because I didn't do that, having seen them later on helped me form a more mature opinion about them and I now have a deeper appreciation for them actually.
Mhm.
Specifically, I will say this one as opposed to Rocky Horror. I think I like this one a little bit more, a lot bit more actually. But
I will also give it that. I like it way more than Rocky Horror,
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah. I think
sure.
there's just more interesting things going on in terms of like the meta stuff going on too, and like the cinematography and
As
shit.
as much as they're both just a bunch of shit smashed together.
Yeah.
Like there's not really any like Phantom of the Paradise is Faust, Dorian Gray, and
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
there's like
pretty
there's
much. Yeah,
like
literally, it's
like
just
like
those three
there's
things.
there's just nothing else going on except they add well even Phantom of the Opera is about musicians. So
Mhm.
like that even that part isn't really even like added in,
It's kind of just
like it's
updated. It's
it
just
yeah,
updated for that.
it's
Yeah.
just those three things kind of the same way. Well, kind of not in the same way, but similar to how The Lighthouse is like just Prometheus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're 100% right. Yep.
You know,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's just like
But
another retelling of these stories that I think the way you put
I,
it was like
I
in a new font is the best way to put that.
I guess for some reason I just find doing that with like Frankenstein the way they do in Rocky Horror is just like I don't know why. I just find it less interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I get
Because
you.
it's just Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And then well it's like Frankenstein and Dracula, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's pretty much just Frankenstein, especially with like Meatloaf and everything. But then in this, by the time they do a Frankenstein thing, I'm like, oh hey, they're doing like just a little bit of Frankenstein in this overall thing. I don't know, for some reason that worked better for me.
You're totally right. That's what I'm saying. I think for me that what helps it also is like I was saying the cinematography going into it. Like this is filmed like a
Oh
motherfucker. It
yeah,
is so good.
it does look really nice. At the beginning, we were like, Amanda was like, wow, it does look really great though.
Yeah.
And then the band started assaulting people in the crowd, and we were like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, it's very yeah, it's a and I think in that way too, the meta joke of the whole thing makes it more enjoyable for me personally to watch versus Rocky Horror. But that's what I'm saying. I don't like comparing them because obviously people are
It's
gonna have they have a huge love for Rocky
it's
Horror. That's
it's kind of like The Boys is supposed to be superheroes in the real world
I
as
100%
celebrities.
agree with yeah,
And it and
100%
and in
agree
a
with you.
weird way, this is like that for musicians, where it's like, oh, you're a musician, you could just assault a woman in the middle of your performance, and everyone's just like, fuck yeah, that's chill, bro. Like,
Didn't
you're
Chris Brown do that though?
untouchable. Yeah, that's very true. That is
Then
real life.
it still carries
Uh,
on. Okay. So
yeah,
it is. So as long as you're a musician,
Yeah,
you
I
can
mean
assault
Drake
people.
Drake did it. Drake did literally do that.
These people were paving the way for him.
That's very true. Yeah, you want to wish that it's satire,
Knowing
but
that the both of you are musicians, you're neither of you are allowed on stage now.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Especially
That's fair enough. Yeah.
Joey Michelle.
But yeah, I really thought this was a very interesting one. I figured if we're gonna do anything on the show relating to like a horror musical, I would have rather it this than the Rocky Horror.
Oh,
But
I was gonna say when Victoria had said about musicals, I don't really like musicals, but I love musical episodes.
it's a good way of putting that.
Because it's
Like
not like the entire like 90 minutes that you have to sit there and endure it. It's just 22 with like some commercials in between.
maybe
I
that's
think
part of it.
I think I know what you mean, but go ahead and fit. I know I see you
And
reacting
and,
to
and
loading up a thought. Go ahead.
I think it's a little easier for me too to just go into it with like, hey, somebody like hit their head, so like this isn't totally serious. This is like a weird thing. There's some
Yeah,
framing
yeah.
device reason. This person's sick, so they're like hallucinating everybody singing, but like it's not what's really happening.
Yeah,
S-
well, I figured for me, which what I thought you were gonna go with was down the avenue of like I like the familiar characters, but in a different setting. You know what I
I
mean?
think that helps too, but also like it's separating it from reality and understanding like it's easy to like I don't really like it in movies either though when at the end they're kind of like, well, this was just a dream and it was all a metaphor for like this guy's guilt, and so
Hmm.
like there's still
Yeah.
power to it even if none of it really happened, blah blah blah. But in musicals it's just hard for me to like West Side Story, they'll do like a pirouette and then stab a guy, and so it's just
Fighting.
like it's too much on the like that. Like it's like we are seeing what really happens in that world, like we're in the reality, and that
Yeah.
reality is just so silly it's hard for me.
It's just such fucking great imagery.
And this circumvented that, I
Oh
will say.
man.
I didn't feel like
Yeah.
the reality was stupid. I kind of felt like everyone in the crowd was definitely fucking whacked out of their minds.
Yeah, everyone's
But
jacked up. Yeah.
that it's not as silly as, like I said, West Side Story is like the silliest one I can think of.
Yeah, but I mean, I will say also too, like the musical aspect of this movie all works within the realm of they're writing a musical, and it's never like someone just doesn't just burst into song right away. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. In
yeah.
the sense of it's all performances,
Yeah, exactly. There's a
but
reason for the music to be being performed. So,
yeah, but that also kind of made it where like at certain points I was like, man, it has been 12 minutes of like not shit really happening, and then we got 10 seconds of plot, and now oh shit, they're going into another song. Like, motherfuckers.
I will say right off the bat too, I fucked with the music in this movie. It's actually like it's really well composed. I
I
love
did
like the bass and all of the tracks are so good, dude.
I did think that the music was actually really, really well written, and I
Hmm.
really liked the song that Phoenix, like it becomes Phoenix's song, the
Yeah,
one that she
yeah.
sings a couple times. I
Hmm.
actually thought that was really good and really well written, and whoever did write the lyrics has a very interesting choice of words.
Yeah,
There was like a
100%.
few
Yeah.
there was like a few songs where I was like, man,
Bars.
yeah,
Bars, bro.
that really was fire. But ultimately, the songs about Faust are like two on the nose, and then all the other songs are just songs.
Mhm.
Like it's not like within a musical, it's like okay, let me sing what I'm feeling. Let me sing something that like moves the plot
The plot
forward.
forward, yeah,
There's
yeah.
like about half of the songs are just like, well, Beef has to sing a song, so let's like sing a song about how this like
God,
very, very clearly gay man totally
yeah.
bones women.
Dude, I
You know?
fucking love Beef's character. He is probably my favorite part of this whole movie.
I was
So
like,
good.
I do not buy for 1 second
That he's, yeah,
that
yeah, for
like,
sure.
and then I turned to Amanda and I was like, hold on, were all men just kind of gay in the 70s? And she was like,
I
yeah, totally.
lot of frills. Yeah, 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 exactly.
I was like, I guess so. I guess so. But he's
Yeah, no.
like literally the song, he's like, I need me a woman to bed. And then he turns around and starts like,
He is the woman.
Oh man.
yeah.
Be the woman you're looking for.
And hey, no shade, I
No,
just
absolutely not. He's fucking amazing, dude.
the
All of his
gaydar
actions
was
are fucking
pinging.
great. Yeah, for sure. Oh man. So yeah, I this is pretty easy to find right now. You can
Oh,
find this one
super
on
easy.
Amazon.
Yep.
I don't know where
I
else.
appreciated not paying 3.99 this week.
There you go. Get ready, boy. We're gonna have to spend some money on these upcoming picks though.
Oh yeah.
These some deep cuts, man.
That's why for the next one I just looked at my shelf.
There you go. That's
I was
fair.
like, what
That's fair.
haven't
Yeah,
we
you
done
make me
yet?
do all the work.
Yeah.
All right, let's get it started, man. If that sounds good to you guys, I don't know about trigger warnings too.
It's
I
really
don't
not.
know. I don't know if there's
I
anything
mean,
really. There's
there's
discussion of suicide.
there's sexual assault. There's
There
straight
is, yeah,
there's multiple instances of straight up
just assault, yeah,
sexual
but it's
assault.
not like graphic like we've talked about
Well,
too. It's not like
there's one scene that I mean, it's not graphic, but you do just straight up see the producer like
just throw
they
himself, yeah,
pick up the
yeah.
woman by her arms and legs and throw her off the couch and then put
Yes,
line up the next woman for
What's
him.
next?
yeah, it's
Uh,
fucking terrible too.
which we're supposed to be trigger warning, but I just did the trigger, so I'm sorry.
No,
But
I mean, to be fair, you did say, let's talk about trigger warnings.
yeah, well, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, I think out of the ones that we've covered, we talked about this, like, Better Watch Out. Very, very
It's so
tame.
yeah, it's so
It's
gentle
rated
in
PG,
terms of like
but
a guy lights on fire, but you don't ever directly see it on screen in
mhm,
any real way.
mhm.
You see some just flames off to the side, like not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
him burning, just some other flames.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like
So
yeah, it's
you
all
know, it's nothing
uh
too upsetting.
there's one part with like heavy machinery kind of
Oh
gore
yeah, yeah. So
happening.
if
That's
workplace
that's like the
workplace
one
accidents,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like the one thing. Like if you if you get intrusive thoughts around the paper shredder and you don't want to see it.
I will say, apparently, a little piece of trivia. I just happened to scroll past when I was looking at it. That's a real ass record press. Like that's a whole
Mm.
ass real machine that
Yeah,
he like
yeah.
had to move his head out of at the last moment.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
it does look like it.
Yeah. So, without further ado, let's get started. So the film begins with a narration by Mr. Twilight Zone himself, Jeff Sterling, over a rotating logo of a dead bird switching between multiple colors while the narrator says, "Swan, he has no other name. His past is a mystery, but his work is already a legend. He wrote and produced his first gold record at 14. In the years since then, he has won so many others that he once tried to deposit them in Fort Knox. He brought the blues to Britain. He brought Liverpool to America. He brought folk and rock together. His band, the Juicy Fruits, single-handedly gave birth to the nostalgia wave of the 70s. Now he's looking for a new sound of his fears to inaugurate his own Xanadu, his own Disneyland, the Paradise, the ultimate rock palace. This film is the story of that search, of that sound, of that man who made it, of the girl who sang it, and the monster who stole it." It's a very long intro, but it was a very cool. Like I just loved that whole thing because it just gets. It's a really cool premise, man. Plus they got fucking homie from Twilight Zone. That's so sick.
Yeah, it's a very Twilight Zone, uh, yeah, very Twilight Zone intro.
Intro, yeah, hell yeah.
It makes sense that they got him. I think his name's Rod Serling.
Is it? I
Yeah,
thought
I think his name's
Jeff
Rod.
Sterling. Oh, weird. Well, either way, Mr. Sterling, thank you for your service.
Maybe Jeff is his government name.
Yeah,
Rod
exactly.
is his stage name.
Well, he is known for bringing the rod. So
Oh God.
So we get a showcase from the Juicy Fruits, filmed in front of a studio audience, that puts Grease to shame while the credits roll. And the so
it was
here I didn't.
incredibly Grease.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I put it in here. It's very interesting because the song that they're singing is about a guy who sacrifices himself, commits suicide to save his sister. And there's
Mm.
like parallels to that in the story as going forward, you know what I mean?
But there's and I didn't like write it all down because I figured when it's your turn, you take pretty meticulous notes generally. So like the whole intro, I was like, oh, he's gonna write this down word for word, and you did. Um, so so yeah, the first song, I didn't realize it was about his sister, um,
Yeah,
but
some
I
guy
thought
like
it
Johnny or some shit like
Eddie, I think.
Eddie. Yeah, there you
Eddie.
go. Thank you.
But there was an element to it too about like after he sacrificed himself, he became famous forever.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That
So it
he
was
was
kind of
embedded
like
in that. Yeah,
above everything else, the most important thing is that he's famous. So it's
famous.
like
Yep.
it doesn't even really matter to other people that he saved his sister. It's just that
Mhm.
he's like famous now.
And that search for, I think that search for fame and that like that willingness to do anything to get it is the theme also of the film. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it does wrap around. We'll see that in Phoenix's character as we go on. So outside the venue, we see our lead Winslow gluing a sign over the Juicy Fruits poster that reads "Winslow Leach at the piano." Which hell of a way to do promo for your own shit, dude. Just that's guerrilla style, man.
Just blasting over
Yeah,
others.
Yeah.
it was so weird. I totally forgot about that scene
Yeah.
because just everything else that happened. But
Yeah, it's very quick too.
it
This is
feels disconnected.
for sure. So when the music stops, the performers all take a bow and look up towards the control room in anticipation. We see a pair of white gloves begin to clap, and everyone applauds, almost in relief. There's a sleazy looking individual named Arnold Philbin sitting nearby who begins complaining to the camera about a starlet he discovered who is now in a legal battle with him. This is great. I told her who to be nice to, and then before he finishes that, loud feedback happens. Fed her the drugs to keep her on the on through get her through the world tours, and I made her a record hit. I made her a record a hit, and then I sold her to you, and you made her the biggest thing in rock. And so I'm gonna refer to this guy as Arnold or Philbin as going forward in my notes, just kind of, switching off. But same with Winslow and the Phantom. But yeah, this guy's like scumbag, the character.
Hmm. Yeah, this movie, the real trigger warning is like everything that you would be afraid of in an industry like this, music or film or TV or something like that. It's all the worst stuff of that. So yeah, this dude is just like the sleaziest,
Hmm.
um, not even producer, handler, manager kind of guy.
Yeah, literally, like I don't. Yeah, I was gonna say because like it does feel like manager is the sort of role for him, whereas like Swan is the creative producer who drives everything. You know, like he's like the
Hmm.
henchman who has to rein everybody in.
Yeah, henchman
Yeah.
feels more fitting than
Hmm.
Hmm.
anything else because he just carries out Swan's dirty work the whole movie.
Yeah, 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 literally. So a voice reassures him that she will soon be forgotten to time, and that they have more important things to tend to, namely the paradise, revealing that this is the voice of Swan that we're hearing. As they're speaking, we see Winslow setting up a piano in the background, and he begins to sing some original material while the crew is on a break. This sparks Swan's interests, and he tells Arnold that specifically he wants the music for the Paradise opening, not Winslow, and to figure
Yeah.
something out.
Which
And
is so weird.
yeah, but I get so that's kind of like using the producer ear of it, you know what I mean? Where like that's their job is to figure out the potential in something, to hear the potential in something, and then like kind of carve the way for that to be successful. So I
Yeah,
understand what
no.
he means, but it's a fucked up way of putting it, and the fucked up way of going about it as he does.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's the way that they go about it. But he says it and it's I didn't realize the way that he meant it, but he says like he's not to be seen. And then later we kind of see what they mean by that.
Yeah, 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 exactly. I love the way, I mean, this is just some like guerrilla style shit on Winslow's part. That's just like getting in the room by any means necessary.
Yeah, well, we'll see his talent for that as we go on.
For sure.
That's kind of a recurring theme for sure.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
fucking and yeah, if you build a wall, he's gonna break right through that motherfucker. So after the performance, Arnold approaches Winslow and tells him that Swan is interested in producing his music. Winslow says that he's excited about the prospect of the whole world hearing his music. Arnold asks if he has any tapes, but Winslow tells him that he just has it written down for now. So Arnold says, "Why don't you just give us two or three of the really good up numbers?" And Winslow laughs and tells him that he's actually still in the process of writing his 2 or 300 page sonata that describes the story of Faust, a German magician who sold his soul to the devil for worldly experience and power. Which
He calls it a cantata, which
he calls it a
I
cantata afterwards, but he specifically uses sonata right there. That's why I wrote it down. But yeah, he does.
okay.
Yeah, he uses cantata afterwards, which I am not well versed in the difference between the
Yeah,
two.
I just never heard cantata before this film ever, and he says it a lot going forward.
Yeah, it's the only
So
way he
that
refers to the music after this.
so literally translates to sung in Italian.
Oh, so it's literally just a play. Yeah, it's just
Is
music for like specifically. It sounds like for a play.
what so it's about the singing. Like it's not a song that's like a song.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
it's you write the vocals and then everything else is about the vocals instead of just like writing a song and then writing a vocal part to whatever you end up with.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, that's from what I can gather from like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
quick
yeah, for sure.
search.
And I mean, also, this is like it's very interesting to see the attention to detail that Brian De Palma put into like even the terminology that he's using to describe the music and everything that he's talking about. You know what I mean? Like, let
Hmm.
alone all of the equipment that we see later on in the studio. That shit, he fucking loves his shot of analog machinery.
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh yeah, he loves it.
Him and machines, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's got a Titan level of lust for those motherfuckers.
And with that, go listen to your
Yeah.
Titanic episode.
Thank you for
I'm
plugging that.
I'm wondering because you said you were a music major, right?
Yeah, early in college. Like most of my high school career was spent singing, and then started moving into actual instruments by college.
Okay. So for me and Joey, we're rappers, so we don't know a shit about theory. So when he's like, because moving forward, we'll see different versions of these songs since he's like stolen the music.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking about this. I was like, are these really versions of the song in terms of like it's the same chords or like the same keys or whatever, or is he literally just taking the lyrics and going, okay, write a Beach Boys song with this shit about Faust? So like I don't know enough or like have a good enough ear to tell whether there's like any actual connection or whether he's basically just taking the lyrics, you
I'm not,
know?
I'm not as like musically trained anymore. As soon as I picked up tattooing, that kind of took over my life.
That's
Uh,
fair.
but as far as like sound, it does not sound similar to me. It literally just sounds like he wrote lyrics that were for the Beach Bums, and somebody else took over writing actual um like the instrumental part of it. It didn't feel like Winzo, like how you guys have a particular sound every time
Mm,
you write something. It's like, oh yeah, that sounds like Sideshow. That sounds like Skeptic.
Mhm.
This did not feel like Winzo,
hmm
like at all. So I don't like to think that he actually wrote that, despite having his music stolen.
Yeah, that's what I think is that
Mhm.
pretty much that's what he was doing was like he like not like he was going, oh, this is, 2 5 6 as like the progression or whatever, and we're gonna do that, but we're gonna do it with this rhythm and these accents, and it's gonna be a
Yeah, because
different
I
song.
figured like you'd probably need a composer there if you're going to be doing all that shit, right? Like you can't
Yeah,
just like take, well, I mean, unless you got really good trained musicians who know how to read the music and they just kind of interpret it that. Because I know trained musicians too who just can do that shit. So,
yeah, and we see too with like the auditions that he holds
hmm
that everybody just has it seems like they just have the lyrics and then they all just do it in whatever style and whatever tempo they want.
yeah,
So he's just like I don't like the way he's doing the lyrics. Someone
yeah,
else just whatever.
yeah.
So he
I
doesn't seem to
love
care about the music itself.
Dude, I love that scene later on when he's sitting around the fucking gold too. I'll bring it up, but that scene with every single genre just kind of being shown, I was like,
hmm
that's fucking awesome, dude. It's so cool. But yeah, you see the attention to, again, the musicality, to everything. That's why everything like has this sort of like feel of authenticity about it. You know what I mean? Even though it's set in this very fantastical nature and everybody's like playing up and it's all very dramatized and it's all very exaggerated, it's very as a way of having it grounded in reality for like, people who know the art of music and how music is kind of, composed or written and stuff like that and how the intricacies of how all of that works. It feels like, again, like we were talking about in I forgot even which episode recently. Jesus Christ, we've been doing so many episodes. Recently we talked about how there's like an authenticity in the filmmaking that the filmmakers knew it. Like I could bring up Green Room, how it feels like the filmmakers like knew people or lived this lifestyle themselves and how it, it bled into the script of the movie and how it like feels like it bleeds into the world of the movie and how they're able to convey this like authentic grounding of this fantastical story.
You brought it up on your Nosferatu episode.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you. She also listens to the show, which is fucking awesome.
I'm not a poser. I'm a fan. I listen.
That's so
Finally,
yeah.
a guest who knows what the fuck is going on. No.
Clip that.
Exactly.
And
So
I think part of that too, though, is because Paul Williams, who plays Swan,
yeah, we haven't even brought it up, but yeah, absolutely.
yeah, he's a real composer, singer, songwriter.
Yeah, do you want
So,
to bring up
so
what we were talking about before we started?
No, I do not.
well, now I'm
The
incredibly
No,
curious.
no,
the
just
Who
amount
did
just
he
to
diddle?
Just no, it's literally just the fact that he looks like a fucking goblin when you finally see him on
He
I can't stand his
does.
face.
He does. He's so like literally I was like looking up the timeline. I'm like, is this Malachi from Children of the Corn grown up?
That's
And that's
so
actually 10
fucking
years later.
funny.
So Malachi was a twinkle in this motherfucker's eye at that point in time. That's definitely he betted a groupie on the road, and that's where that little bugger came from.
The fact that you don't really get to see Swan interacting with people and he basically just lives in the structural integrity of the paradise,
Yeah.
it felt real nice to me. Like, yeah, yeah, you get back in that wall, you get back
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
them,
yeah.
and we ain't trying to look at you. That's
Yeah,
probably why he does that, because he know he got the uggo.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think on a subconscious level too, that's kind of what they were playing on like throughout the movie, and then
I'll,
I
like
was
it
gonna
kind
say
of plays.
the writers, they're like, hey,
Yeah.
you
Well,
kind of not
it's
pretty.
just a Palma, so it was just him.
well, that's yeah. That'll come up again later. I'll have some comments to make about
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah,
about
just
Paul's visage.
just his yeah, just the way that he looked was just so shocking. I know they were just both like, ew.
Hmm.
We both saw him for the first time.
God,
So Arnold says back to Arnold and Winslow talking. He says, "Look, a song is a song. You either dig it or you don't. Now I like your stuff, kid, and you know what? I think the juicy fruits are gonna dig it." Which fills Winslow with rage as he slams Arnold against the wall and
I
says,
did love this.
I won't let my music be mutilated by those grease balls."
He is right. He
Yeah,
is
he
totally
is.
right.
Yeah, he is in it. That's for sure. And it's like, yeah, it's a little bit of an overreaction, but I think it's
I'll tell
a
you this
proper
right now.
reaction.
I'll tell you this right now. I would happily take money to ghostwrite for somebody.
Who
Happily.
wouldn't?
And
Yeah.
my personal email is no, uh but no, seriously, I'd be happy to do that. I view that
Yeah.
as like a completely different thing.
Yeah.
But
Very
if
valid.
someone was like, I love your music, but I hate that you're involved. I'm gonna take your money. I'm gonna give you money, and someone else is gonna put your music out. No amount of money could make me do that.
Yeah, for sure. There's a difference in, yeah, the levels of like where you're willing to part ways with your art for money
Hmm.
and where, your integrity is also being intact.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an intersection we all must find.
Yeah, for sure. So I appreciated them showing Winslow being that passionate about his music because he's like he very much is. I don't like Winslow's character completely, but I respect his character a lot of the time. I'm like, yeah, he stuck to his guns though. You know what I mean? That's fair.
He seems like he's gonna be a weak little nerd, you know,
Yeah,
like the before on the Anchor Arms commercial.
for sure, for
But
sure.
he's actually a jerk and everybody loves him, like the after on the Anchor Arms commercial.
That's so goddamn good.
That's a deep pull, but I knew that you would both get it.
So
She's
funny.
shaking her head, but I know that she got the reference.
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh man.
I do tend to get a lot of your references that you make on the show. And I have the exact same reaction, just quiet head shaking.
That's the zone that I live in.
Exactly.
To
That's
to
At
quote Skeptic, you have a very interesting place on the spectrum.
yes, I sure do.
I sure do. So he chills
A
out.
little niche.
So he chills out and lets him down. Arnold offers to take the music to Swan and says that they'll be in contact with him afterwards. He says that he has a feeling that they'll be producing his very first record, and we fade to a little title card that reads 1 month later.
You got to read that in the SpongeBob title card.
1 month later.
1 month later. It's funny. I don't remember where it is, but at some point they do a like circle closing scene
Mhm.
transition,
It's
and
so funny because that's the transition I use on our YouTube videos.
that's hilarious. I love it. It always reminds me, and it did in this instance of I think it's in Babe where
Hmm.
they win the county fair or something,
Yep,
and
it
it
all
closes on
like
Babe, and Babe's like, I'm just like one lucky pig or whatever. Then it closes, then it opens back up, and it's the little mouse, and they're like, I got a
yep.
little joke to say too, and then it closes again.
It's totally 100%. Yeah.
Those little um what are the transitions specifically for Babe were probably like one of my favorite parts of my childhood. The second I saw that, I was like, "Oh, that's beautiful."
We're home.
That
Hmm.
was
It's like a comfort movie.
It is.
that was the beginning of the iMovie era. These motherfuckers were like, do I do the star? Do
The whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
do I
Stuff.
do the one where like horizontal lines come in and it's
They
only
overconnect.
part
It's
of the
too
scene?
fast.
Whoa, hold up, man. That's too far.
Hey, I
Yeah.
was I was editing skate videos at that time.
Yeah. So, so we see the logo from the beginning of the film is for Swan's company, Death Records. Winslow
Which
enters
it was originally Swan Song, but
Swan Song Record. Yeah, I was gonna say
Led Zeppelin wanted to sue them.
that's literally what it was. Okay, I hadn't seen. I was seeing something about it, but I didn't read into it. What happened there? That's interesting.
I think they just have a song called Swan
They
Song.
just had a song called Swan
I
Song.
think I think that's it. But
That's
yeah,
yeah,
so
because I was looking at.
Death Records is just I was kind of Swan Song Records is a record label that they launched on May 10th,
That's
1974.
funny. Okay.
So they were probably getting everything together to incorporate and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but defunct as of 1983. So who lasted the test of time,
Exactly.
huh?
That's so funny, huh?
Robert Plant, you dickhead.
That's funny as shit.
That's another thing I have strong feelings about, but we'll talk about it
That's
later.
for another podcast. So, so we see Winslow enters the company headquarters and asks to see Swan. When the secretary looks up his file, it reads never to be seen, and she hits a button that alerts security, who chase him off the property.
That shit's hella funny. There's just a
So
fucking note
goofy.
right there that's like, fuck this guy.
Literally.
Calling security was so unnecessary. Like I for sure thought she was just gonna be like, oh well, he's actually booked solid today, so why don't you come back the 32nd of February?
No, then it wouldn't be the
You know?
Phantom of the Paradise, baby.
And so instead we get some fucking I can't think of the Benny Hill.
Yeah. It's very Benny Hill. Yeah, the fast forward running motion.
Like
Yeah.
chasing him around the revolving doors.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, it totally is. So he lingers nearby and later follows Swan's car to another location known as the Swanage.
He gargoyles hardcore.
Yeah, dude, he's like he turns super villain mode immediately. It's so funny. And so yeah, the place is called the Swanage. I put that, I was like, what the fuck? But whatever. Hopping the wall to gain access once he arrives. And he kind of blatantly just strolls past a bunch of bikers who I assume were meant to be security. And he just makes his way into the mansion.
Yeah, it's interesting. He does have like a bunch of like weird Hell's Angel guys
Which
around.
which the Stones did. You know what I mean? Like that was just kind of like they're oh okay, they're more dangerous than
And
like
that's a decision no one ever regretted.
yeah, exactly. Literally.
All I'm finding is that there's
Yeah.
a town in England called Swanage. I was like maybe it's like their
Like a
nest or
reference or something. No, yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Uh,
play on word, just a play on his name. That's all it is.
yeah.
So there are women lining the staircase, all preparing their voices for the audition. He notices one woman's voice in particular. We're introduced to Phoenix, and he asks her,
And he approaches her in the most normal,
yeah, for sure.
non-weird.
Yeah, no, it is very weird for sure. But who I want to say, Jessica Harper. We've been talking about covering Suspiria on this fucking movie on this podcast forever, dude. And that movie is like, yeah, that's one of the reasons why we started this bitch too. I like
Well, then choose it when it's your turn.
I will. I will. Jessica Harper, she's fucking amazing, dude. She's so good in that. She's great in this too. I love her in this. She's a lot of fun. And I think she was actually singing in this. I think the only one who wasn't actually singing for this movie was Beef at one point because he was sick for the entire duration of the shoot.
I didn't know that.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So his voice is the only one that was dubbed over. But
I
no.
love I love finding out that the other day someone asked me about the new hit Hulu film Night Bitch, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
nope, haven't seen it yet. She's in it.
Yeah, dude, I want to watch it. I'm so excited actually. That one actually looks really interesting.
All I see about that one is just doggos. And is that Amy Adams?
Hmm.
Mm,
Hmm.
mm.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
Amy
yeah.
Adams, and I swear to God, I just like was not paying attention, or maybe that 200 milligram hit me harder than I thought. Uh,
As it
but
do.
I swear to God, I thought it was Amy Schumer, so I was like, not interested. And
For
then
sure, yeah.
then I was talking about it the other day, and they were like, no, it's Amy Adams, and I was like, oh, Lois Lane. Okay, no,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I could deal with that a lot more easily.
You
Emotionally unprepared for that one.
you know Amy Adams as Lois Lane?
Yeah, that's probably all I know her from, and trust me, I say that with scorn and derision.
I was gonna
Uh,
say because the way that I know her is from Enchanted.
That's funny as hell.
So
Enchanted.
Yeah, what have you
seeing her
known?
do all of these other things, and I'm just like, oh, it's just her princess self getting to do all these cute little side quests.
I just know her as well. If she just figured it out, how the fuck is no one else going to? Like, it takes her like 5 minutes to figure out who Superman is. You know, like I was just like, look, no shade to her, but these breadcrumbs were not hidden. Like someone else is gonna figure this out, Clark. What are you doing?
So, Winslow approaches Phoenix and asks her where she got the song that she's singing. She says that Philbin gave it to her to audition with. He asks her to sing it again, and this time he joins her while she does that. She asks how he knows the song, and he whispers to her that he wrote it.
I was wondering, he's kind of like guiding her with his voice, but he's also doing like all these little hand signals. And I was just like, I don't know if these are actual like conducting signals or if he's just chewing the shit out of the scenery here.
No, he's actually yeah, like he's actually doing conduct. I did take like a couple of theory classes, so I know he's actually doing the conducting, but like yeah, it does seem like he is actually just playing it up for sure.
You know who he reminds me of? I'm just realizing is Please Don't Destroy.
Mm-mm.
It's the trio. They were like YouTube or like online comedy group.
Oh, okay.
Um, and then they got hired by SNL. So now instead of the digital shorts, they do these guys like film and edit
Oh, okay,
something
okay.
every
That's
week and put it
cool.
together. They're funny as hell. But one of those guys named Martin looks
It's exactly like this one.
just like Winslow.
That's so funny. So I've got a few so that this part is funny because he whispers it to her, but like immediately other women are like, wait, if you wrote this thing, then why are you in there with Swan auditioning everyone? And he's like, well, I don't know. Like it's very strange. Like he's so like dense and fucking like clueless. It's so fun. Um yeah, specifically he says there must be some kind of mix up. And Phoenix says that they must not know his name because it's not credited on the music. To which he responds with, "That's funny. Swan heard me sing that song." It's just so you're like, "Oh, Jesus Christ."
Yeah, there's a naivete about him
Yeah.
pretty much all throughout.
Yeah, it's very enduring though. I think it's very endearing to his character. I don't think it like ever detracted or made me feel like he's like stupid in any way, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh man, he just really wants that thing that he wants, you know?
Hmm.
So
He has
the other
tunnel vision.
yeah, yeah, very much so. So the other women tell him that Swan is opening the paradise with it, And he gets excited and he says, "But gee, I wish he'd have told me." It's like, God damn, bro. Oh man, when she's
As,
giving you all the signals.
as I told my cat Biscuit the other day, sir, I implore you, go to the fucking Clue store and see what they have on sale. Get something off the clearance rack. Jesus fuck.
That's so goddamn funny.
Mallory is not impressed with it.
Yeah,
No,
she's
she didn't
not.
like it.
They didn't like it for that one. So,
Jesus told the truth, but they didn't like it.
damn it, so stupid. Anyway, so Phoenix says that the auditions are for a backup chorus when Winslow says that she's a really good singer who shouldn't waste her time in a chorus. She asks him to help her practice then in order to get good enough and land a spot in the chorus. Is what I wrote down, but I don't know if that's exactly what happens. It kind of just sounds like she's just like, "Will you help me get in the chorus?" And it's like he's like, "Yeah, that sounds cool. Like I'll help you." And it's just like, how is he gonna help her? Like, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah,
Just
this
because he
guy has
wrote the
so much
song.
pull.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
exactly.
realistically, he should have some amount. He should have some amount of say, but you know,
But
it's
but
just
literally, they just exampled how he has none.
yeah, everyone's just in this, like really the explanation is Quaaludes.
That's
Every,
fair.
every plot hole in this film, the real answer is fucking handfuls of Quaaludes.
Yeah,
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 just like in Harry Potter.
that's fair.
It's
Yeah.
just
That's
magic.
fair. Yeah,
How do
exactly.
they get to the platform? Handfuls of Quaaludes.
Exactly. Like a normal person.
Oh man, so you're
I
like
would
just
like to go to wizard school.
That's the way we
good.
function.
That was good. So she asks, "You're not just doing this to be nice, are you?" And I love his response. He says, "I would never let my personal desires influence my aesthetic judgment." I thought that was a cool. I was like, "That's fun. That's a fun line for him."
Yeah, and she's like, "What the fuck does that mean?"
Yeah, yeah,
You're prettier when you're quiet.
yeah.
You don't have to be smart to get by. You're just pretty.
You're prettier when you're quiet. It's terrible.
She really does display as the film goes on though, like not a very not a very
Not a-
intellectual
I was gonna say
character.
not a lot of agency going on there.
She's
Yeah.
she's looking for the clue store that she's heard about. Something
Yeah.
about clearance.
Yeah, she's like, "Please, anything. Where's the take a
Yeah,
penny, give a penny?"
yeah,
Like,
it's pretty rough. And I will say I like her as an actress. I love her as a performer, but yeah, her character in this is very strange. I doubt I felt conflicted and even when it ends, I didn't know how to feel about her. And I don't know where like we'll have that conversation when we get there. But yeah, there was like a weird no, like anti-arch going on with her. You know what I mean? Like it was a very strange whole overarching thing. But so when it's finally time for the auditions to begin, Winslow is turned away by a shouting biker, but somehow still manages to follow them to the back. The biker leads her into a room and is with a comically low doorway, and she's taught that she's tossed. Oh no, she's tossed onto a couch when she enters the room. We
yeah, this
see
is the no-no room.
Yeah, this is the no-no room for sure. We see Arnold throw himself on her and she begins screaming as the door closes. As Winslow puts his ear to the door, Phoenix storms out in tears and says, "Philbin tried to I just can't do it. I came here to sing." Winslow still has the nerve to ask if she told him who he was.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry you almost got graped, but
yes.
did you tell them about me?
Yeah, he's really not very emotionally intelligent, I would
No,
say.
absolutely not. No. So two bikers come out of the room, find him, and toss him out. And we cut to this is funny as shit because this is just where it goes full of Looney Tunes. We cut to inside the room, and see a bunch of women in lingerie lying around in a huge circular bed surrounded by mirrors. They start getting performative for Swan's cameras by making out, feeling each other up, saying that he likes to watch them do each other.
Hmm.
In a hilarious reveal, we see Winslow turn over as soon as Swan enters the room. And
That
and in a not so hilarious moment, Swan drops a slur and has him escorted out.
a heavy slur,
Yeah, it's just the
especially.
first fucking like screen time we see him. We're just like, Jesus, dude.
It's yeah, and also, like Victoria had said, he is not a good-looking man.
No.
So when you've just got this like pile of nubile, fertile women, just like
Kyle.
for him, it's like okay, all right.
All right,
It's
he's up.
it's
Okay.
kind of like I think I was telling Amanda this. I was like, one day I just realized. Oh, Hollywood is and television is like owned by old rich guys. That's why so much stuff is about how young hot women can't help but bone old rich gray saggy men is because, Californication was what did it for me. I watched like 2 seasons of
That's so funny.
Californication and then I went, this is literally David Duchovny's Spank Bank. This
Yeah,
show is
yeah, yeah.
literally just for him to watch later and jack off to and be like, yeah, that young chick, oh, she wished that it was real. Yeah, like just this weird lie that they try to
Yeah.
sell us, you
Yeah,
know?
no, you're 100% right for sure. They are fawning over this guy. They are like as soon as he comes in, they start like weirdly chanting his it's not even chanting, they're like moaning his name. They're
Yeah,
like
ooh,
Swan,
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 Swan.
Swan, Swan. It's just like what the
One
fuck?
one of them says, how many times have you been here? I've been here 12 times and I
Oh, I
still
never
haven't
sang
sang.
yeah, I never sang once.
I just get to come back here.
That's so fucking terrible, dude.
Like, yeah.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, he comes in, drops the slur, and then Winslow's out lying on the ground, like really badly beaten, bloody, and two cops walking by just decided to plant drugs on him, and firmly reminding everyone that this is an ACAB podcast. So,
That's right. Fuck them all.
amen. So this gets him set to sing,
With
sing.
with a condom full of smack. I must
Yeah,
I must
yeah.
point out. That's my least favorite Tool song.
That's fucking amazing.
But the visuals on stage during it are pretty good. I must say. I'm not mad. I'm not mad when they play it.
It's fucking perfect.
Just took a victory sip of
That's a
water after
good
that
one.
one.
That's a good one. You deserve it. So this gets him sent to Sing Sing, where he is told he's a volunteer for the dental health research program, where all his teeth will be pulled out.
Yeah, that shit was brutal, dude. That's
Yeah, he's
who
like,
here is an innocent man.
yeah, he's like, I don't want my teeth pulled out. I'm innocent. How many men are in here are innocent? Fucking everyone.
Oh, look at that. All innocent men. God.
So we cut to 6 months later, and we see Winslow at an assembly line looking absolutely tweaked as
Do
the
you know what
radio
they're
announcer.
do you know what they're assembling?
No, I didn't even pay attention to that. What are they assembling?
They are assembling the board game Tiddlywinks.
What the fuck is
I knew it was a board game, but I couldn't see like what it was.
that?
Yeah,
I've
I
never
just
heard of
noticed
this shit in my life. What the
I
fuck is
just
this?
noticed it said Tiddlywinks, which is a
I thought
hilarious
you made it
word.
sound like it was like the beloved Tiddlywinks. How could you forget?
I think I think in South Park Tiddlywinks is also the name of the gerbil that gets shoved up
Oh, yeah,
Mr. Slave's ass and goes on the So that's probably what we mostly know.
oh my
Tiddlywinks is a competitive game involving four colors of winks. Oh, well, let's end it
That's
there.
there you go. That settles it.
It goes it's long. It's like a 5 paragraph
Jesus Christ, I
explanation.
guess Tiddlywinks is fucking we just needed to get that on our radar then I guess. God damn.
Need to tiddle
I
your
just
wink.
thought I just thought it was funny. I was like, of all things, why is it fucking Tiddlywinks? Was Tiddlywinks made with prison labor? Like,
Keeping with the theme of the movie, I would have assumed that Monopoly would have been a really good game to throw
Yeah,
in
mm.
to
there.
throw and have them at like manufacturing that. You're right. Yeah, 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 for
Yeah,
sure. But I mean,
like a little Easter egg foreshadowing or
De
something.
Palma, if you ever want to do a reboot, there you go. That one's free.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. Googling Tiddlywinks prison labor, it wasn't very fruitful.
That's gonna put you
So
on some sort of list.
On a list, yeah.
it probably is. And when they come for me, I'll tell them it's a game involving four different colors of winks,
It's just a children's game.
Oh, I'm
specifically.
sorry. I thought this was America.
I'm sorry. I thought there were four colors of winks.
And thus the Teletubbies were born.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. That's a fucking.
But
That's an
Tinky
alley
Winky was
up.
forged in secret.
Oh man, the alley up to then dunk
In
that one.
prison.
That was good, dude. All right, so they're at an assembly line and he's looking absolutely tweaked as the radio announces the opening of the Paradise and the new hit single from the Juicy Fruits, Faust. When Winslow hears this, he snaps, absolutely wails on a guard, and makes a break for an exit.
In Silvertooth Kid fashion,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
proceeds to do Silvertooth Kid activities.
He literally
That's so specific.
he literally does I don't know if you played the original Metal Gear on PlayStation.
I have not. Yeah.
So
I'm
in
familiar
the
with Metal Gear.
oh, you are interesting. Okay, so maybe you'll know this then. So everyone knows about the cardboard box, right? You can put the
Yeah,
cardboard
this one
box
I was
over
gonna say.
yourself and you run and then when you stop
Oh,
it like
okay, yeah. I do know that mechanic from it, yes.
yeah, so in the original game, and I'm pretty sure it works in a similar way in two and three at least, but in the original game, there's like five different boxes that you can get. And if you go into trucks that are parked in different places of the base that the game is set in, and you put the boxes on and sit down,
Uh,
depending on which box you're wearing, it'll take you to different parts of the base to
that's
deliver the
funny
box that
as
you're in.
fuck, dude.
So like one of them is an oranges box, and they'll take you to like where all the food is.
That's
So,
so funny, dude. That's so
but
you're
that's
it
lit.
totally yeah, it literally is what happens
That's
here.
how he escapes.
That's
And
literally
and and before we started this movie, I told Amanda I was like, "So this is going to be a lot campier than anything that we've ever really covered." And
Mhm.
she was like, "What does camp like really mean?" And I was like, "Huh, let me think about
This.
this." I was like, how do I like say this in the correct way?" And I was like, "Well, it's like cheesy and gay."
Yeah.
Like like
Yeah, literally. Yeah,
that's
literally.
pretty much
Yeah.
what camp means. Is
Yep.
like it doesn't take itself super seriously.
Mhm.
And to be totally honest, for like 30, 40 years, camp was just straight up slang for this thing's kind of gay.
Now you got to show her the movie Camp.
I didn't know there was a movie called Camp.
Yeah, and it's basically what you just described. Cheesy and gay.
Yeah.
And don't take it seriously. And also, the great Stephen Sondheim makes an appearance. It's
Oh,
very great.
Oh shit.
nice.
That's sick.
Okay, well, I'll definitely have to check it
There you
out.
go.
I'm
But
not saying
yeah,
it's a good movie, so don't go into it thinking that it's amazing
Don't
because
say
it's
that.
crap.
well,
But
it's called camp, so I mean, and that's the
Exactly.
thing. Is like she was like, how do you like what is it? And my explanation was like, okay, think of Batman now, and then think of Adam West Batman.
Hmm.
You know how there's just like sort of this like frantic energy to it, and it's
Two
not taking
different
itself super
languages, I think.
seriously,
Yeah.
and it's very like costumey, and
Hmm.
that's the
uh,
Quaaludes.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
big time, big time.
The
God,
Quaaludes
this.
dressed everyone, not the actual costume designers.
I wish I could remember it totally off the top of my head, but I think it was the actors for the Riddler and the Penguin from the old Adam West Batman. They got kicked out of an orgy because they wouldn't drop their characters. People were like, "Get the
What?
fuck out of here!" Like, no.
He's like, yeah, shit. Kick me out.
It's pretty bad getting kicked out of an orgy just in general. Like, I mean, I imagine you're on a pretty select list to get invited in the first
Yeah,
place.
exactly. Oh my God. Okay, so anyway, he escapes Metal
Oh,
Gear
oh,
Solid
oh,
style.
but yeah, I said so like multiple times in this movie, but this was one of the big ones. I was like, this is camp. This is camp. Like
Yeah,
this, like this,
100%,
this,
literally.
this explains it. You
Yep.
you should totally get it just from like these few scenes.
Yeah, exactly. Like and like Three Stooges kind of slapsticky type of humor
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of like
yeah.
yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of this movie has a lot of that too, but it's interesting seeing that it is grounded in some sort of reality when it comes to like we said, all the analog music shit that we're about to see and all of the actual music being grounded in some sort of reality. It's very neat, very interesting.
hmm
So he escapes in a box, which falls off the back of a truck, and he makes his way to Death Records HQ. He frantically runs inside, causing an entire ass ruckus, smashing through doors and breaking open the lock to the site. To the on-site vinyl printing warehouse. Yeah,
I love that the bikers like chase him inside,
yeah.
and then he chases them back
Yeah,
out.
literally, it's a matter of a second. Like they run
Like
in
they're
and
just
they
like,
run
oh
out.
fuck this guy.
And he like smashes through the entire fucking like plastic panel that they had like covering up the door. It was so funny.
It reminded me of those Scooby-Doo scenes where they're just
It
Yes.
literally is just Scooby-Doo. Yeah, it's literally just
Yes.
Scooby-Doo. Yeah.
Abso-fucking-lutely. And the
That comes
panel's
up
hella
like
funny.
the yeah, dude, the panel is fucking great, man.
I'm pretty sure they were like, let's just replace the glass with these just in case. And then
I'm telling you, dude,
someone
yeah.
got too hyper and like thought it would stop them, and it just goes complete. I don't think it was meant
I'm
to completely come
I
off the
don't
wall
think
like
so, but I'm
that.
pretty sure it's just Winslow being like as in character as fucking humanly possible. It's so funny,
Yeah,
dude.
it just happened. It didn't seem like the set was supposed to fall apart like that.
Yeah, they just kept it in the movie for sure. Oh man. So okay, so he starts wrecking the place and manages to get his sleeve caught in the record press machine while attempting to sabotage it. A guard catches him in the act, and Winslow slips on something, causing him to accidentally hit a switch that closes the machine with his face inside of it. And it's pretty crazy too how it happens. Like he slips, gets the thing fucking shoved in his face, and then it just cuts to the next scene. It's
It's
like,
it's
God damn.
it's such a hilarious just synchronicity of different horrible things happening, but
Yeah,
it has the feeling of like Tom and Jerry slipping across marbles across the kitchen floor.
literally.
You know, like it's just like the most contrived, ridiculous shit, and it's just like, yeah, whatever. The point is, this happened to him.
Yeah, literally. That's yeah. So severely injured, with the cops closing in on him, he staggers into the parking lot and flings himself into the nearby river to escape. We get a newspaper headline that reads, "The Paradise Gates Open." Then the camera pushes in on the bottom of the corner of the paper where we see a small three-sentence story about Winslow's disappearance.
It's like fucking loser
Yeah.
dies.
Literally. Oh, you have it right here. So it says Mad Toonsmith bites bullet. It's the whole. I love that she's got notes. To show the camera if you can. These are fucking great. She's
um,
got very detailed notes.
some of my I'll show a better one. Some of my notes have actual pictures.
So for the
Oh
class,
shit.
literally.
Wow.
And then I like to watch things with subtitles, so it's actually got like
The
quotes from the
actual
movie.
quotes on the movie. That's I love it, dude. It's the most prepared a
Well,
guest has ever been.
as someone who's invested time into, having like a nice sound system, I too religiously watch everything with subtitles.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter how good the sound
Amen.
is.
Amen,
I'm like,
brother.
how do we turn them on at the movie theater?
We have
Yeah,
actually gone to watch a movie where they actually have like the closed caption on the
on the
screen. I
side.
was like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
great. If we could do it for everything, That'd be amazing.
I
Because
know,
it's
dude.
really hard to hear the movie over my loud chewing on my munchies.
But beyond that, though, sometimes they mumble shit, or you can't, you know what I mean? Like, or I don't understand like the spelling of something
Hmm.
too. Like, you know what I mean? That's also helpful. I don't know,
Hmm.
but yeah, we're yeah, subtitles.
Everybody needs to learn how to read.
Amen.
My mom, when I watch movies with her, she complains because I put the subtitles on. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, your eyes don't go like that. You don't watch movies like that." Then everybody
Split.
do like this. Just turn your head. It's
People will
fine.
be like, "Oh man, I can't watch anime with subtitles because I'm either reading it or I'm watching what's happening." And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like I only watch it with subtitles and I watch it one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
like watch it. Oh, I don't like go, okay, that's all the dialogue. Let me watch the fight now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't
Exactly.
understand I just don't understand how it's hard.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's the same people that complain about fucking yeah. I can't watch a French movie because of subtitles. I can't watch a Korean movie because it's like fuck off, dude. Like,
Like reading is looking. If you can
mm,
read, then it's actually impossible for you not to read anything you look at. I don't know if you've ever like thought about that.
that's fucking crazy. No, that's
But
weird,
that's just
but
how
that's weird.
you
Yeah,
can't not read. If you look at words, you read the words.
that's interesting.
Like
I never.
it's not like a
That's so funny.
conscious fucking thing, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
You just go, oh, words. Oh shit, that's those are the words.
Shit, I gotta do it. I gotta do
Like
it.
it's not that much effort.
Yeah, for sure. That's so funny. So, we cut to the point of view of a heavy breathing individual, presumably Winslow, attempting to enter the theater where the paradise is going to be showing, but he's shunned away. He turns around and tries an alternate route by scaring some bikers nearby with his appearance alone. They just fucking book it. Like that's fucking hard earned money right there. Or hard earned drugs, I should say, but yeah.
They
They
said cheese it.
yeah. Yeah. So he makes his way backstage and into the wardrobe department where he grabs a fabulous new fit and very uniquely designed mask. His transformation into the Phantom is complete. And I wanted to just talk about like the design real quick. He looks fucking amazing. He looks fucking incredible. Like the helmet is so fucking dope. I love the way I called it it looks similar to the Berserk helmet. What we were
Yes.
talking about. Yeah, it looks very similar to the Berserk
Yeah,
helmet.
he just looks like Griffith.
Yeah, he just looks like Griffith.
He's
Yeah.
yeah, Griffith when he's like all chained
Like
up and
yeah,
shit.
when he has well, he has like the battle armor or some shit, right? Like
He's like a
specifically.
mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a mix. It's like Griffith's helmet from when he's Griffith, and then
Mhm.
the rest is Femto is kind of what it's like.
Yeah, it's very that's what I'm saying. Like it's very like God, I love the cape and everything. It looks fucking awesome, dude. Like just all of it looks it's a great character design. Like it pops so well with like no color. You know what I mean? Where like the rest of the movie is filled with color, I feel. And like he's the only one who's very much like very minimal, like black and white or silver, you know?
Kind of like me at family functions.
Amen. Yeah, amen.
It's
And
funny
that's on Goth
because
Kids.
it's funny because you want to say he's just Darth Vader, but again, pre Darth Vader.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't know what the fuck a Darth Vader was back then.
What's a Darth Vader? It's funny that you brought up Darth Vader too, because I have his breathing down as Darth Vader breathing.
Yeah, it totally is. Yeah, that's so funny. And it's like
Oh,
it's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, his breathing. Sorry, it took me a second to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
understand what you meant there. Now I get it.
Yeah,
Winslow.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of these things feel like things that were influenced by this movie or like that were influenced by other things, but it feels like this movie had a lot more influence than we think. You know what I mean? Where it's like the
Hmm.
other way around, actually.
Yeah, this movie feels a lot like when you talk to people about movies and you're like, "Have you seen Martyrs?" It's not like a
Which
one
I
that's
do
like it.
regularly.
That was our first movie night.
Yeah, it
Um,
was. Yeah.
yeah, it feels like super niche and like, "Oh, have you seen this movie that should be a complete cult classic?"
Mhm.
It's kind of like when hipsters are like, "Oh, I discovered that."
For sure. I
before it
saw
was
it before it was
cool.
cool, yeah. Yeah,
That
very much
that
so.
painful the painful phase we were both in when discovering these movies that led us to make this.
Literally. Yeah. Yeah, that's why but we didn't gatekeep, we gate opened.
That's
That's the
right.
thing. That's the
We
thing.
gate invited.
We gate invited.
It's not our fault. Nobody wanted to come.
So we see the rehearsals for a music number taking place, and the screen splits in two to reveal the Phantom placing a bomb on with a timer on it inside one of the prop vehicles being rolled out onto the stage. It's very fucking cool. This is one of my favorite scenes in the movie for sure. The way that they split, yeah, it's just like it just becomes split in two. It's very like split screen and then watching two things happen simultaneously. But I think they were all filmed at once. I'm positive it's all filmed at once.
Yeah, this feels very like one cut, but without it being really like truly one cut.
Literally, yeah, you're 100% right. Yeah, it does. It definitely feels like a one cut because I don't know if any cuts happen as soon as they push in on the car because he starts
I
the
was too busy.
timer and it literally and then it just splits in two. It's
Yeah.
so cool.
I was too busy going back and forth trying to read the subtitles like this.
Yeah, for sure. If
Going back and forth.
in this part particularly, it reminded me of a Gaspar Noé film. Like definitely reminded me of like how he fucks with like format sometimes or how he'll play with like different things. I felt like this was a very clear like inspiration for Noé, which oof,
Yep, you've
we
been
got one,
teasing.
yeah, we
You've
got
been
one coming up,
teasing.
man. I'm not. That's the first time I have not been excited for a movie on this show. It's fucked up, man.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll get to it. You won't be. Um, so, uh,
You
so,
won't be.
so this is very cool. Like I said, so I tried to describe the scene as it's happening. It's a lot going on. So you've got the timer ticking, the music is being performed, and Arnold is being his usual piece of shit self, telling one of the performers to keep her shirt off while she's not on stage. And all of it is happening, all of it, like the sound is most, it's like anxiety inducing. It's very much overstimulation happening like in a scene.
Hmm.
So
Just wait, it gets worse.
yeah, for sure. So as they're rolling the car out, one of the men is attempting to leave in a panic, and he asks Arnold. He this one is weird. He asks Arnold his sign, and he says, "You're a Leo. You're fine then. I've got to get out of here." But Arnold grabs him by
Yeah,
the arm and redirects him back to the stage.
and tells him to take a bunch of speed.
Yeah, he feels him because he was talking about. He's like, I fed her all the drugs to keep her through the road tours, and it's exactly what he's doing here. That's what everyone's doing to everyone throughout this whole movie.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Uh,
yeah, I just want to make sure that we pointed that out at some point that that's a big part of his role is he just like
he has the drugs. He's a
hands
drug guy.
yeah, he just hands people shitloads of drugs like
Hmm.
constantly. He just has a bunch of pills on him.
Yep, he's not the only one who's gonna do it either. So he keeps pleading with him to let him go, but because he hears a loud ticking and he thinks something's going on. But Arnold just shoves a bunch of pills in his face and he sends
It's
him back
that
out there.
crocodile.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
100%. Yeah. Oh
it
man.
just felt right.
It was the right reference to make. So as the car crosses the stage, the right side of the screen focuses on Swan's face, and everyone exits the car on the left side of the screen, we see an explosion and a look of concern come over Swan while people scream and flee. He doesn't look concerned, he's just like, "Whoa, that's neat."
Light bulb.
Yeah.
Fire!
Yeah.
Fire!
Exactly.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm fucking wrong.
Fucking so right. It's so funny. Uh, so, I want to point out the use of reflections in the movie, dude. The scenes with all of the mirrors are wild, man. Like the way they film him in the hallway, like when he walks over to his secret room and goes behind the wall. Yeah, you have another one. She's got another note right here with the picture. She's like, look.
Thanks, it's the chism.
Is the picture of his little Speaking of fucking
Yeah,
Scooby
yeah,
Doo,
yeah. It's literally, yeah. That's literally, I have it in here. Let watch. The user reflections of the movie has no right slapping that hard. When Swan retires to a secret room, Scooby Doo style, we finally see the Phantom's face reveal.
and he does it in a Scooby Doo-esque manner.
Yeah, literally, it's just pulling a candlestick, and then
A,
the
a,
the door pops open.
a manner befitting of one Scoobert Doobert.
Scoober Doober. I love that Scooby-Doo comes up so often on this show because it
I
literally
mean,
is just that, and it's one of the greatest fucking cartoons ever made.
Scooby Doo is the lifeblood of of the
Amen.
horror genre.
I
All
fucking love that. Oh my God, I love that show, dude.
all horror creators really are just copying episodes of Scooby Doo. You know,
Hmm.
that's why Cher and the Harlem Globetrotters show up in so many horror movies.
I mean, look at Corn and their Scooby-Doo episode on
Yeah,
South Park.
yeah, South Park.
That shit is
It's
hilarious.
amazing. I love that South Park keeps coming up on it too.
God,
Uh,
South Park is definitely the most liberal thing that I indulge in. And don't get that
Liberally.
twisted.
yeah.
Don't get that twisted. I'm saying from the left side of the equation.
Yeah. It's so funny.
So sometimes I like think back to old South Park episodes and or watch them whatever that I used to really agree with and I'm like, "Holy fucking shit, I hate these guys' politics." You know?
Yeah.
I'm like I can understand some of the messaging, but like Jesus, I'm so glad I grew where they did not.
Sorry. No. It's
I do
stinging.
I do appreciate though that the Man Bear Pig was about how global warming isn't real. And then they did a retraction episode where Man Bear Pig is real.
Yeah, literally, it's just they wrote it into existence. So funny.
Yeah, and that was the whole point of that episode was to like apologize to Al Gore and be like, "You're right. Global warming is real. It's really fucked up. We need to do something about it."
So Swan watches back the tape from the rehearsal and he discovers that the Phantom is the culprit. As he exits the room, the Phantom holds him up at knife point and he tears the mask off of him. And he Swan tears the mask off of Winslow and he cowers immediately, shielding his face from him. Swan asks what the horrible sound is that he's making before pitching him on the idea of working together instead of against each other. He invites him to the auditions happening the next night so that he could prove that he means business. But Winslow just runs away. And he's like, I didn't write it in here, but he's like wheezing or some shit. Like it's like
Yeah, well
like it's
they
really like a growl or some shit. Like
I think if they would have addressed it, it would have been good. It's kind of like left unsaid,
mm.
but he burnt them in the press. His
His
vocal
vocal
cords.
cords.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah,
I said them like you knew what I was fucking thinking. He
yeah.
burnt his vocal cords in the press because when it closed on his face
That
and
makes
also
sense.
on his neck.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, I think they would have benefited from like directly stating like this
Yeah,
is what
literally
happened
that's just
here.
what happened, yeah.
If it would have been like, you can't talk because of the press or whatever,
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, I kind of got it just from when he's later on when we're about to see with the tinkering and all that. But you're right. Like one little line of dialogue would have been like, all right, cool. Like puts a nail in that for sure.
Y-
He's just making Nosferatu sounds,
yeah.
and that's what Robert Eggers was inspired by for his Bill Skarsgård character.
I was thinking about yeah, Nosferatu too. Also, that's so funny. So at the audition, we see Phoenix about to leave for a little altercation. Leave after a little altercation with Arnold. But Swan compels her to stay by asking her what she would give to sing for him. She responds with, anything you want. And he asks her if she would give her his voice, or give him her voice. She begins
Now, now
singing.
that now that you mentioned Nosferatu, I'm just what would you Doggy.
Literally. Yeah, she's just fucking Nosferatu,
I
absolutely.
just I just keep seeing TikToks that are like, how do I defeat the vampire? You must bounce on it. Crazy style.
Those are fucking so good, dude.
When they were looking at the book and it's like to kill the vampire, someone's got to fuck it. I was like, the vampire wrote this. You found this book at his house. Like, we're gonna trust this. Crazy style. I do have his mustache, I must painfully admit.
Is that is
Good.
that your description of it or Amanda's?
Of my mustache?
Hmm.
It's a realization in the moment as I look at my Zoom screen. I'm like, hmm. I did a couple of years ago
Oh
just
man.
go as vampire for Halloween. I just bought like a long coat and was just like, whatever. This is already
It's doing a lot,
vague.
doing the heavy lifting for me.
Yes. Now I just need to learn how to uncut my penis and I can be Nosferatu. How do you get it back on? No one told me it was irreversible. Directed by Gaspar Noé.
It's stupid. Oh my god. So she begins singing, and the camera pulls back from behind Swan to reveal the Phantom sitting next to him. I'm pushing forward as hard as I fucking can.
I really
God damn
appreciate
it.
you doing that. I did not have an exit strategy, so
I love it so much. Oh, yes, the Phantom. She's good, isn't she? And then he nods and he says, then let's talk. God damn it. We're all right, we're composed. We see the Phantom.
I gotta say during her
Mm,
audition,
mm.
like she's singing great. She's
Oh yeah,
owning the
yeah.
song.
It's
But
the
then at the
dancing.
yes, but then at the end of the song, she just decides to dance for like 8 bars out of the room.
Yeah.
And I was just
Dance
like,
out and then walk back in.
yeah, I was like, why is she leaving? She needs to know if she got it or not. Then she turned around and came back in, and I was like, well, now you've lost all the power. What are you doing? I
She
felt
forgot
like
her hat.
I
Yeah,
felt like
exactly.
Dennis for a minute. I was just like, you stupid bitch. No.
We just got yeah, we just did better watch out, so that's why you've got Dennis on the mind, I
Oh yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah. That kid was very Dennis.
Dennis
Well,
Sodian. I
and then
love that.
what did we do? We did something else where it was literally just. Oh no, it was that episode where he just
Yeah, it was
Dennis
literally
her.
yeah, he
Yeah, he
just
just
Dennis her.
Dennis her.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just that one. Go listen to our Better Watch Out episode. So so we see the Phantom in the studio playing his heart out, while Swan sits in the control room, fidgeting with knobs and dials to hone in Winslow's voice so that it comes through clearly when he sings through a box that's attached to his chest. Very, very interesting like workaround, but he's like, yeah, he's essentially throwing like filters on and stuff like and mixing his voice in real time.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and
Mhm.
it's kind of funny knowing now that Paul Williams is like who he is,
An
and
actual, yeah.
he wrote all the music, by the way, the music
Yeah,
and the
he's the
lyrics.
composer and star of this film, which is yeah, very that's fucking that's
Yeah,
mad impressive, dude.
it is. It truly is. Um, but yeah, it's just interesting watching him like flip around with everything. I'm like, well, I I don't think that's what any of those things actually do, but it
But
works
I
on
trust
like
you.
a visual
but
level,
but you're the doctor.
you know? Yeah, yeah,
Got a lab
exactly.
coat on.
So
Yeah.
it was just interesting. He's like pressing, but then he says like filters. There was one thing he said specifically where I was like, that is
Dolby's.
distinctly, yeah, Dolby's.
Yeah,
I was like,
Dolby's. Yeah, I thought it was
I,
weird too. I was like, what?
I was like, well, what the fuck does it matter what monitors you're using?
Yeah.
That's not gonna like actually change the
That's
sound of
good.
the
That's good.
signal, you know?
100%. I thought that's what I'm saying too, but like as someone who works with production side of things and having to edit shit on the side of our podcast and stuff, I worked with audio engineering. So it's like it's neat to see this type of like, detail paid attention to. It's very interesting.
Yeah. It's
And
always interesting what parts of like because you can't just get across like a highly technical involved thing like all that well,
no, for
you
sure. But
know.
but that's what I'm saying.
It
Like De Palma films it like in a way that's very much like you feel like you're in that studio
it
with him.
looks
It's
cool.
very, yeah, it
It
looks
looks cool.
very cool. It looks very cool. So the two have a conversation once that's done with, and the Phantom agrees to help him rewrite his cantata for Phoenix to sing. Swan busts out a thick ass contract and tells him to sign it. He reads it over and is confused about the fine print and some of the clauses that are included. But Swan assures him that it's all above board. He pricks his finger with a pen and tells him, "Ink isn't worth anything to me, Winslow. Now sign." So he does. And this is his
God
bargain.
damn.
This is his Faustian bargain.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like glowing neon signs letting us fucking
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're like,
Glow.
this is the Faust part. This is the
Yeah, yeah,
Faust part. It's like,
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
So there's a strange scene of Swan retiring to the Scooby-Doo room again, listening back to the tape of what just occurred. But when we hear his voice, it's raspy and evil sounding. While he
Mm-hmm.
listens, there's an almost somber look on his face. And I think when I took that note, I didn't realize what was happening, but I did afterwards. Like why his voice is all raspy and shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was
Yeah,
like, what
yeah,
do you
yeah.
mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just the like demonic interference
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
like what he truly is.
Yeah, yeah, it's very cool.
By the time he hands over a fucking, it's not as bad as the one Orlok had. That was in fucking Wingdings. But by the time he hands over a fucking 800,000 page contract written in like the old English
Yeah.
storybook font, like that shit was pressed on like the first printing press, you know?
She
Uh,
has the fucking thing in front of her. I love it, dude. You're so prepared.
It was pretty. I wanted to use it for reference later.
That's fair. Yeah, script. Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, that's fair.
oh,
That's,
yeah, that
yeah,
makes sense.
that's totally
Yeah.
fair. See, and we just that made the entire appearance worth and valid on this show.
Just for that alone. She got
For
something
that
professional
alone.
out of it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Rhythm with the tism.
Oh man. So where were we? We cut to a montage of the Phantom feverishly writing to meet his deadline.
For your birthday.
That's so funny. It is on the 8th, huh?
I assume it's
It's
on the
so
8th. The
funny. Yeah,
calendar starts on the 9th.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Oh,
Yeah, it is on.
does it show the calendar at some point?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't even like
literally.
realize what like the
Yeah, there's like
dates were.
shit like yeah, fading in the back. It's a montage. It's literally just like the clock is behind him and then like the piano at one point. And then you're right, like the calendar at one point. That is so funny, yeah. Which is yeah, his deadline is only a few weeks away. And all this is happening while he's being kept locked in a room guarded by bikers. And
Oh yeah.
De Palma is just flexing so hard all over this movie. We see Swan in a dark room sitting in the middle of a giant gold record table, is what I was talking about earlier, while Arnold sits on the outside. And they discuss the fact that Swan abhors perfection in anyone but himself,
Mm-hmm.
which means Phoenix is going to be a backup leader instead, singer instead.
It's it's so weird because like I said earlier, he has all this like power and influence,
Hmm.
but he just wields it in like just like the dumbest, most dick-headed ways
Hmm.
where he's like, "Oh, I already have this guy's like music," because he doesn't care about the notes that he's writing, which is
No,
really weird to me because they're like later they're like,
he
"Oh,
tells
well,
them make it your own. Like,
yeah, well they're like, "Oh,
yeah,
this was written for a woman." but then by the time they actually present it, all of the music is different in a different genre, different chord
Pretty
progressions,
much, yeah.
different style, different tempo. It's just the words that are the same.
Mhm.
So it's like ultimately all the stuff he's having him do to go write it is just like nothing busy work. It's like
Essentially,
why
yeah,
didn't you just
essentially.
kill this guy when he showed up? Like what
He
was the
likes
fucking
playing with
point?
his food.
Yeah, yeah. And
Essentially.
it just ends up being kind of like a big circle chase of just like,
I
why
think it really is more about the what is happening than like who it's happening to, essentially. You know what I mean? Like one of those things where like we were talking about, like even in Green Room, how you have to kind of pull back and find the like the
he
overall
just
vibe of something.
Swan just has like very poor planning and management skills.
Yeah, that's
And
for sure.
and I know they're doing a
He just
lot
wants
of
butt.
cocaine, but yeah. Yeah, apparently.
He's blinded by booty, man.
Blinded by the cheeks.
So, so I want to describe this scene though before we move on. So this is fucking amazing. Like it is it is a set with a spotlight directly on Swan in the middle of this giant gold table record, which how the fuck did he even
Oh
get in the
yeah.
middle of that? Like he's sitting play yeah, yeah, you call it. I love that you just mentioned it.
I'm a small
What?
person. All I do is just crawl around and climb on
She
things.
just off of my side, she just motioned underneath. Oh, that's so funny. Anyway, yeah, it is him sitting in the middle of this, and then he's talking to Arnold, being like, "Oh, well, I need to find the next like sound and how this is gonna, lead the opera, what we're gonna lead with the show." And as he does that, he looks over, starting at the left. They go from left to right, left, and then there's a spotlight on a group of people who are like all singing a folk style song of Faust.
Yeah.
And then the spotlight goes off dark. Then he turns over a little bit more. Another spotlight comes on, and I forgot. I think it's like the two duet. It's like a two like a two women singing like a almost like doo-wop style.
Oh, the Red Rum Twins?
Yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, the Shining Twins, yes. Yeah, so they have them singing that style, and then while the light goes off, you see people walking back behind them, like it's like just a production set. I was like, this is fucking awesome, dude. It's super, super cool. And then yeah, like there's another flash of I think like a bluesy style there's like another one genre, I forget what it was.
There's a country
He's
guy.
a country guy, yeah, that's what it was. And then
Hmm.
finally he finally lands on Beef. And Beef is who we finally like are we're finally introduced to Beef. Arguably my favorite part of the movie. I really, really fucking love.
Fucking beef.
I fucking love his character, dude. Um, so he says that the show needs something heavy, and we see an excellently crafted sequence of multiple genres of music being played by people throughout the room, like I said. And he finally settles on a chiseled individual dressed in all gold, playing an electric guitar, named Beef. I don't know if they actually have. They don't say his name there yet, huh? I don't. Yeah, they haven't introduced his name, but we
Yeah,
cut.
not yet.
Yeah, so we cut back to the writing montage, and we see that the Phantom is exhausted. He finally lays his head down to rest, and we see that a candle that's been burning the entire time finally extinguishes. Swan holds a press conference on an airstrip, announcing the opening of the paradise and introducing the world to Beef, who is now dressed in black and silver body paint and glitter. The way they do it is so funny too. The like press all has to be like super far away to not get any
Yeah.
photos.
One
They're only allowed for like um like questions for like running in the paper.
I
yeah, and
have
one
it. Go ahead, Chad. Sorry.
No, no, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I have it in my notes that we're introduced to Beef in the second coolest coffin. I have ever seen.
Yeah, that's fair. For those who
Oh,
don't
that's
know.
right. Yeah, yeah. When they came around the corner, because he's
Hmm.
like beef, and then it's the had been exploded but somehow survived juicy fruit slash beach bums that they like walk around the coffin and then they open the coffin. So I was like, oh, I thought it was gonna be that guy. I guess it's another band. And then they open it. And I was like, oh, so like
Hmm.
they used to be hot shit, and now
He
this is the
literally
only
tells,
gig.
yeah, he literally says they're the old guard, like passing off the like type. That's literally like the phrasing that he uses. They're finished. They're who wants nostalgia anymore is the phrase he uses. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
for those who don't know, the reason why Victoria made that is because we actually worked on a photo shoot together where you oversaw the creative design of a coffin.
Yeah.
That's basically the best way I could put
Yeah,
that.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah, so yeah, and yeah, go check out that one on my socials, her socials. Yeah, they're fucking the photos came out great, man. That coffin was fucking sick. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
we
don't
just
know that
spent.
I don't know that I've seen the coffin. I feel
Oh,
like I would
really?
remember.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's cool as fuck. We lit it really well and stuff. It was all done right here in this little like what you're seeing on the Zoom call. But yeah. So yes, you're absolutely right. That and his look is fucking cool. He's got like silver glitter all over his like face and chest. Like I don't know how else to describe. It's like very fucking strange when he comes out of that like coffin. It's very cool though.
Amanda was like, he's a JoJo character, you know.
Yeah, literally, yes, literally, he's just a JoJo
He's just a big,
season.
beefy,
That's so
extremely
goddamn.
homoerotically presented man.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, he's amazing though. I fucking love him, dude. It's so much fun. The shower scene is the best scene in the entire movie. I can't do it justice by writing it down. It is so goddamn funny.
Well, yeah, when we get to that, or are we gonna? Well, yeah, I guess we will talk about it because something important happens
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next day, Swan wakes the Phantom and offers a pill breakfast to get the day started. He checks his progress and tells him that Phoenix is very excited to meet him. When he leaves, the guard shuts the door behind him and he signals to someone off screen. Two men roll a cart over that's stacked with bricks and they begin laying them in front of the door. At the rehearsals, which is really fucked up. So that's fucked up.
Hmm.
They're just gonna wall this man in. At the rehearsals, we get another look at Beef as he fumbles through the songs. He tells Swan that he doesn't think he could do it because, again, like you mentioned before, that it was written for a woman, and he says you need to get yourself, you need to get yourself a woman singer because it's just not going to happen.
Hmm. Yeah, he's like struggling. I
Hmm.
thought he was just a bad singer, but I guess it's just like they're trying to show it's outside of his
It's out of his
range.
range. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So after Swan inspires him a little bit to try again, well, I forgot what he says. He's like, nobody can sing it like you. Like, I think he said that, and
Hmm.
he's like, you're goddamn right. He just
No,
grabs the mic.
he said you could do it better than any woman could.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, that's literally, I think that's literally what he says.
but he didn't say woman.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Yeah, yeah,
right.
that's right. Yeah,
You're
yeah, yeah.
right.
He uses
Yeah.
another term for sure.
Leave it to the girl to remember that part.
Hmm.
I was so offended. No, I was too distracted during this scene specifically because the three guys in the background, one of them looks like Mark Hamill with
Oh, he
a
totally
really
does. Oh, that's
terrible
weird.
fake broken arm.
Oh shit, he does have a cast on. That's weird. Yeah, that's so strange. Yeah, I'm looking at a little screenshot I just
Yeah.
got right now. That's crazy.
I think I think it's supposed to be because they were in the explosion. So they're just like
Oh, okay, okay,
cartoonishly
okay, yeah. Oh,
like
that
they were
makes
just like
sense. Yeah.
just do something
God
so they
damn,
look
dude.
like they went through it
Show
or whatever,
Chad,
you
So,
know?
you're close. Look at
and
Mark
you can
Hamill.
see Mark Hamill in the middle there.
Oh, yeah, wow.
He totally looks like Mark Hamill.
Yep, pre-Star
That's
Wars.
so funny. Yeah,
Pre
pre
Mark
Star
Hamill
Wars,
losing his
exactly.
arm in Star Wars, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and I love that you're totally right. The same Ben is in throughout the entire movie, but they're just being like reshot shaped and reintroduced and like but
I
there's so
forget
much
what the
continuity going on in the background. I didn't fucking notice that. That's
I
awesome.
think at this point now they're being rebranded as the Undead or something to that
Yes,
effect.
Oh,
thank you.
really?
They're
Thank
credited
you.
that way, right?
Oh,
Yeah, I was trying to remember
I didn't
what
even see that.
they at the end when it's giving you like the play-esque like shots of everybody telling you
Mm-hmm.
like who they were. Yeah, it says them and then it says Juicy Fruits, Beach Bums, The Undead.
Oh, okay, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, see, I didn't fucking
It's
that's such a
it's not like
small detail
directly
that's
yeah, it's not
so
directly addressed in the movie, so it's
yeah.
really easy to just completely miss it and not realize. Um, but yeah, I guess that was an element that was happening.
That's crazy, dude. That's such good continuity though. That's really fucking good. So it's opening night of the Paradise, and the Phantom finally wakes up to discover his music is gone and he's been sealed inside the room. He lets out a screech that Beef seems to notice, which terrifies him. He thinks that because he's singing a dead man's music, that the theater is possessed. I love, dude, his little performance right here, just being so distraught and so like prima donna. Yeah, it's so good, dude. It's so fun. Oh man, and I feel like this was so on the timeline. Rocky Horror came after this, right?
Yeah,
A
it
year later.
almost a year later.
Wow, a
Yeah.
year later. That's fucking
I
crazy.
think this one came out on like Halloween in 74, and then Rocky Horror came out in September of 75.
Wow,
It's in my
crazy.
notes.
Yeah, but that's fucking awesome, dude. Thank you. No, no, legitimately, that's awesome. Because
Uh-huh.
you
Yep.
see, like you see things that would have been. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that's goddamn. You're great too. Thank you. You see things that would have been remnants of like influences and other things. Like he's obviously like a precursor. What it feels like, while it would have been in production at the same time. Frankfurter. You know what I mean? He feels like another Dr. Frankfurter for sure. Like.
Yeah, yeah. It's very, very, very incredibly. It's like somebody Xeroxed something. Um, and Rocky Horror existed as a stage show at that time.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, fair. Yeah.
but not as a movie yet. So it's very and at that time it's like the internet didn't exist. It's not like you just
Oh
knew
yeah.
everything that
Yeah.
was fucking going on at all times, you
Yeah.
know.
Parallel thinking was a real thing at
Um,
one point. Yeah.
Well, when they're all taking the same
yeah,
drugs,
That's fair. Good. Yeah. Quaaludes all make you see
hmm
God.
attending the same orgies.
sure will.
Well, not the Penguin and Riddler.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
It's like
We know not to go where the penguin flies.
that's good.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
That's fucking great. So when we cut back to the makeshift prison, we see that the two bikers are lying in rubble with the door exploded outward. Real Looney Tune shit once again. It's very Acme fucking
Yeah,
outline.
it was like at what point did he get like superpowers? Because we don't really see that at any other point in the
Yeah.
movie.
So I saw, okay, so I saw, it's weird that this came up because I didn't think it would, but I saw someone talking about this movie online and they were saying like, yeah, it's weird that he like busted out of a concrete sealed door. And it's like, yeah, but you need to dry the concrete. And I don't know if they left enough time for him to do
Well,
that at that point. You know what I mean? To
but
actually
there was
live
also
it.
a steel door closed outside
Yeah, they
of
look like
the
tinfoil. Like,
yeah
door
That
so
was
he
their first
outside.
broke
problem. It's made
he
of
punched
aluminum.
through bricks and then he ripped through like some sort of metal. So it was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? You
Yeah, for
know?
sure. Well, he's also hopped up on all these fucking drugs. So, like, I don't know. Maybe he
Just
found the right combo.
Too many
when
uppers.
when he finds him and takes the sheet music before they lock him in there,
Mhm.
there's literally just pills strewn
Screwed
all
all
around
over
the
the place.
fucking table.
He's shaking them off as he's pulling the paper out.
So ridiculous.
Oh, that's so funny. So, this is the scene I was talking about earlier. So, Beef tries to cool down by doing a fistful of coke before stepping into the shower.
he tries to cool his flamey heart with a cool island song, or does he warm his icy heart with a hot island song? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, that's good. That's good. So, he begins singing, and I think I'm pretty sure he's singing the Faust, right? He's singing the song. He's actually just doing the one that he was making his own, quote unquote.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
that that one is Faust. I think that one's more the reference to Frankenstein.
Yeah, yeah,
Ooh.
that's the one that like I while watching it I was like, "Huh.
His
I thought this was all
intro.
about Faust. This kind of seems like just like I don't know if it's Beef's song and
Mhm,
it's like if Beef's gonna be part of this, Beef wants
mhm.
to play one of his, I don't know. It
Well,
doesn't seem like
it
it's
feels like
Winslow.
it's just his intro song, like in the timeline of the play, like that's just his intro music essentially. Like,
Well, even, but within the framework of the Faust story,
mhm.
there's no Frankenstein element.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
it
yeah,
it
yeah.
it just seems like it's like to involve this guy. So it seems like it's something it's like a producer decision to add this thing in. I don't think it's like one of Winslow's songs is kind of what I'm
Mm. Well,
like
he
I think
does
he
say
he was just
right
like
here, literally, he just says that don't sing my music because it's not meant for you, it's meant for Phoenix. And he
well
says
they
any.
It doesn't necessarily mean like that song specifically, but like in general, like, oh, I know you haven't been fired and you're here to replace Phoenix. Don't do that. I don't like it.
yeah, and they also have a 'cause it's like a medley because they do like the Frankenstein song and then
Yeah,
it
yeah.
goes into something more about Faust, more about
Hmm,
like a
hmm.
deal. So I think it was just they were like, well, let's just add this in, and now his character is like a Frankenstein guy. So it's just like this further and further bastardization
Yeah, for
of
sure. A copy of a copy of a
of what
copy.
he
Yeah.
cared about. They're like, yeah, and now there's a Frankenstein in it. And he's just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, dude?
What the
Like,
fuck?
this
Yeah,
is not what
so
we agreed to.
the Phantom uses the plunger to shut him up and then tells him that anyone.
Horrifying. Kill
Yeah,
me at that
exactly,
moment.
exactly, dude. That's
I'm
exactly
ready
what
to
he
No,
said.
die right then and there.
no, that's fine. That one's a sink plunger. That one's not for toilets.
That's I don't give a fuck any kind of plunger. That's disgusting either way.
I like the lyrics that he is singing from the song are
Mhm.
kind of foreshadowing the events that are happening in the bathroom with him. Like he sings "Life at Last," salutations from the other side.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Phantom just broke out of his aluminum foil prison
Mhm.
and found his way to Beef, and it's like he was reborn, if you want to think literally, through that very strong door. And he's like, hello, Beef.
We
Salutations
got
from
beef,
the
beef.
other side. And that's when he like I forget the next line of the song, but the Phantom pokes through
Yeah,
it
yeah.
with
He
the knife.
stabs through the curtain with a knife.
Yeah. And I don't know, it just felt like Beef was singing kind of what was happening to him.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
So like there's a lot of foreshadowing that I was picking up on in this movie.
Yeah, the music again, like I think in the context of what it's supposed to do, the music does its job so well. Like it carries it serves as both expedition and like also furthering the story along, like actually like pushing the narration along. You know what I mean? Like actually furthering the story. So yeah, like the music, you're totally right. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that, because like I said, I didn't catch that the opening song had so much to do with the themes of the movie either. So
Yeah, maybe on like another viewing I'd find that there's more thematic connection there. But
I
just on
definitely
the
did on my second viewing. I definitely found that.
yeah, just on the first viewing, it doesn't seem like there really is. So it just feels like
It's a lot to take in.
especially
It's a
after a
lot to
while,
get.
I'm enjoying. I actually did really like the songs themselves in terms of like
Yeah,
the compositions and how they sounded, the creative choices. The lyricism is what I find like the most
yeah,
compelling
yeah.
for
Hard,
sure.
hard to.
But
But to quote
Yeah,
Phil, who listens to the lyrics anyways?
Yeah,
exactly.
I liked
Exactly.
that. That was
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
All the comments on the music industry, are
Mhm.
very true still.
They're very valid. Yeah. Yeah, they hold a lot of fucking weight, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Phantom hits him with a plunger and he tells him that anyone that it's his music is only for Phoenix to sing and that anyone who tries dies. And then he pops the plunger out. This little fucking
One of those little sound effects.
That's so good, dude. I fucking I love it. I love him so much. So while Arnold is outside managing the line of the people who are there for the show, he notices Beef walking out the back door with his bags in hand. He stops him, and Beef tells him what happened. He says that he's leaving, but Arnold shoves him against the wall and tells him to get back inside, eventually dragging him in there, kicking and screaming. So yeah, he's like the place is haunted. I'm not fucking. He's like I've been in this industry so long, and if I'm not gonna do a show, it's not because I can't do the show. It's because a ghost is telling me not to.
What I
Hmm.
what I found kind of funny later on like my second watching was that um Beef had this little makeup symbol. I didn't catch what it was in the beginning, but he has a Scorpio symbol um painted on the side of his cheek,
Mm.
and it kind of reminded me of what one of the beach bums said earlier. He was like, "Oh, you're a Leo, you'll be fine."
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
this
yeah.
guy's a
Yeah.
Scorpio, gonna be fine. And then
Oh,
when he's
interesting.
running down the stairs to leave the venue and Philbin catches him, he has a four-leaf clover for luck painted
That's fucking
on his
awesome,
cheek.
dude. See,
Yeah.
I didn't
Every
catch that
scene.
shit. That's fucking awesome.
Every scene he has a different thing painted on him, and that's what I was going to mention about the shower.
Really?
Is me and Amanda both clocked this. Like, first of all, this dude is like so up in arms about like, oh, it's for a woman, oh yeah, I could sing better than a bitch, and then he's like throwing the F word around and everything. Not
Hmm.
not him, but Swan is,
Swan, yeah.
so there's like this very like toxic masculine energy, and then he's like, oh no, honey, like there's a ghost
Mhm.
up in here. So,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
just like, come on, man. But
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's got like curlers in his hair and a little skull. Well, he had the skull drawn when he was coming out of the coffin, and then he had something else drawn on him before he goes in the shower, and he's like finishing drawing it when he hears the scream, and then he
Oh, I
goes
didn't catch that.
he goes and talks to Philbin, and he goes into the shower. And when he goes in the shower, he has the freshly drawn thing on his face still, and
Yeah.
he's wearing a shower cap over like the curlers and everything. But me and Amanda were just like, this dude's doing everything out of order. What the fuck are you like? Like what?
That's so funny.
But at least they did us the intellectual service of he wipes away whatever he had and then he does the clover. So like
Mm.
at least that makes sense. But it's just like
That's
why
so funny. I didn't catch all of the different things that he had on him though. That's so
it was
funny that
like
you
you've
guys
done
caught that.
so much to get ready.
Yeah.
Generally you shower before you do your makeup.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and you
Like
usually do coke after the shower, I would assume.
that's right. Yeah, and he's like doing
This
comical
motherfucker
amounts of
is just
cocaine.
like
And then he does a quick look over his shoulder, which I thought was hilarious.
yeah, yeah. It's so, dude, it's so, oh man, I love him so much. I like he's such a small part of this movie, but it's so fucking funny. Like the screen time that he has is all none of it is wasted. Like absolutely none of that screen time is wasted. It's so fun. So the curtain drops and we get a fantastic little rock opera number complete with amazing costumes and interactive elements, guitar sides. So they're just like hacking away like that. But I love that. Like if I go to like that's what I was saying. Like fucking, I'd want to go see this show. Like I'd go see the fuck out this show, dude. Like it looked like a great time because all the interactive elements that are going on with the crowd. The band looks fucking great too. Like they're. I think there was some mention that their look is it's a like a throwback or a reference to an old like Italian movie or some shit.
I thought you were gonna say Kiss.
Well, yeah, because yeah, no, no, but it's like an old Italian movie or some shit, like a poster that like that their look is directly derived from. I was like, that's what, and then again, De Palma just like, of course, that makes sense. This is fucking him flexing in every single frame. But yeah,
Yeah.
very fucking fun. I love that, and the song is really good too. There's that they're really good. It reminds me of Ghost. It reminds me of
Hmm
Ghost. Like that's what I was trying to. I was
How
like, I was trying to.
theatrical it is.
Yeah, they're very theatrical. Even his delivery and his vocals and stuff very much
Hmm
reminds me of Ghost. That's
Oh, the
so funny.
band Ghost. I was thinking, I was like, the movie with the sheep?
The dog from Game of
I,
Thrones?
yeah, that's right. I forgot about Ghost.
Yeah, yeah,
Me and
exactly.
animals. I'm sorry.
So, so the as Beef is introduced, we see the Phantom making his way to the rafters. He grabs a neon lightning bolt and flings it at Beef. Which, okay, I want before I even like before I finish this thought out, it's very cool how they're lowering Beef's coffin into the middle of the stage. They're lowering him onto the platform, and as they do that, you see the Phantom using that rope as like a levy to like pull himself up. It's very fun.
You know that
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
dog from like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons? I forget if it's like Wacky Races or something.
Muttley.
Yeah, and
Yep.
he's just like
Mhm. Yeah.
that's what I
Yep.
pictured him doing as he's like going up the into the catwalk.
He is very Muttley. He's very Muttley. That's
Oh,
true.
that's so good, dude. I am so glad we got you on for this episode, dude. That's awesome. So,
Because I watch a
Very
lot of
Muttley coded.
Hanna-Barbera.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I get
absolutely.
all your Scooby-Doo references.
Yeah, exactly. So, so yeah, he grabs a neon lightning bolt sign, flings it at Beef, and it electrocutes him to death right at the right moment for everyone to believe it was part of the show. So, and it's very funny how he dies too. It's like he like comically does all these like face contortions and shit, and like it's like flashing lights and shit. And he's just like in different poses. It's very comical, very Three Stooges, like we were saying, just so
This
unbelievably camp.
this is a weird one to me though too because honestly like I just don't see why he died. It like fell next to him and then he starts being electrocuted and then he lights on fire and I'm just like looking at it like is there a wire touching him? Is
I
there
don't think it
it just
matters.
it
Yeah,
just yeah, it just
Quaaludes.
yeah.
it just like
Playlists.
really it just like really does not logically connect, which is so often my
Well,
problem
yeah,
with
but also
musicals.
the way his death is, you know what I mean? Like those death throes of his are very just like
Yeah, but I mean,
I think
it
it's kind of like the same thing as when the Beach Bums were performing and we have the bomb in the prop car. Uh, I had to like pause and go frame by frame to even make sure if the band even
dude,
died. I was like,
it's
did they?
hard to yeah, straight up. I was like, did they
yeah.
fucking die? Like, did we just see fucking live
That's
death?
you know what? That's actually kind of interesting because really he only kills Beef and like the
Yeah.
guys guarding the door.
Yeah, so yeah, that I saw someone bring this up too. It's very interesting that up until this point, he has not taken a single life. Beef is the very first kill of this movie.
Well, there's the guys that were guarding the door. I think when he leaves and the hole is punched in the door, there's like just two guys laying there lifeless.
Yeah, but I don't think that was like intentional. You know what I mean? Like he didn't intentionally kill them. They might have gotten killed like in the blast, but I don't think that was like intentional. Like he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill these two right outside." Like this is
I
the
kind of
first one
got
that
I got the vibe that he just, broke through the door, then just started rampaging fucking Ronald McDonald
they look like
style.
yeah, well, because it looked like they were underneath the rubble because that would make sense if he just broke through and they're like standing on the other side of it, being like, "What the fuck?" But
Mm.
like, it didn't seem like it was like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill these guys first." Intentionally, Beef is his first kill as the Phantom.
Yeah, he
You know
had
what I mean?
to use Beef as a messenger. Like he had to literally kill the messenger
Hmm.
because in the shower scene, the Phantom tells Beef, anybody that sings my song and isn't Phoenix will die. And
Hmm.
Beef
Hmm.
was just like, okay, bet. Let me go tell Philbin this.
Let,
So
let
he
me
tells
dress.
Philbin.
Let me
And
get my
then,
Santa costume and break out of here.
uh-huh. So then Beef proceeds to be put on stage and he performed the song. So Phantom was like, all right, you call my bluff. You gotta die now.
For
Hmm.
sure. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Had to be made an example of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Um,
So
I,
this
I did want to point out though, he was dressed like Santa Claus when he was
yeah,
trying to
literally, yeah,
leave.
literally trying to leave. I was just like, wait, why the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah, why are you in a full Santa outfit right now, dude? Like, what the fuck is happening?
Because Quaaludes.
Because that's
Yeah,
exactly all of the answers
Don't
come
don't don't
back.
question it. It's
he's high and
Quaaludes.
it feels good on his skin.
Exactly.
Stroke the furry wall.
Exactly. So this forces Arnold to send out
I'll
Are
say the
you
word.
okay?
she keeps pulling off little bits that are so silent and in my peripheral. It's so funny, dude. So this forces Arnold to send out Phoenix in his place. And as the song begins, the Phantom mans the spotlight, and we get a moody yet groovy ballad that is extremely well received. And yeah, I mean, she sings the shit out of that song, man. That's fucking, it's a great, like you were saying, it's a great song. And that bass, dude, that shit is funky, man. I love that shit.
I do like how everyone's like at the curtain, like clamoring for beef, and then the curtain rises and she's standing there, and there's no more set design. There's no like for
Oh yeah,
beef, it
it's
was like this
literally
whole it
just
was this
yeah.
whole like Frankenstein's lab, and he gets in like the coffin, which is also like the fucking platform that gets hit with the lightning that brings him to life,
Mhm.
and all this shit. But when she comes out, there's no more set design. I don't think
There's
there's even
people
really
like on the
musicians
side of
on
the
stage.
stage and shit. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And they all like, oh, Beef's not here, and just like walk back off the stage into their
It's like,
seats,
oh
which
shit,
is
my
like
bad.
such a weird, like surreal
Yeah.
thing to see. But it's interesting, like the
Because they
the
were
tonal
saying
shift.
that they were there specifically for him, that they were there for him, so that they need her to go on, or else there is no other show, and like they can't have that essentially. So it's literally
Yeah.
like another show must go on type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, all right, turn them out. Like get the new blood in there. You know.
Hmm.
So Swan meets Phoenix backstage after the show and tells her that she's going to be a massive star very soon. He says that they'll go to Swanage to celebrate and that he'll wait for her in the car. As she's leaving, she notices the
Well,
Phantom. What happened?
I just have to point out there's this weird interaction where he's like, "You're so talented and great. You have an incredible music career in front of you." And
Hmm.
then she's like, "But don't you want to leverage your power to have sex with me?" And
Yeah.
he's like, "But you're so talented and we don't even have to change your name." And she's like, "No, seriously. I know you look like a fucking sewer goblin, but I will bounce on it crazy style." Like she's like begging him to do something improper. It's so weird. It's so strange. Am I the only one that like got that vibe from that? It's so weird.
You don't understand the bounce on it jokes have been my favorite thing about the fucking internet this week. That's what I love.
I really love it. I've sent you a lot of Nosferatu I saw one that was like Nosferatu getting out of the shower, and it's just someone's hand shadow going towards the towel.
I saw one recently where it was Nosferatu trying to plug in his charger at 3 a.m. and it's the shadow of a charger trying to go into an outlet.
That's hella funny.
I'm gonna be so upset if TikTok
Dude.
actually gets banned.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't
right.
think it's going to because Trump is so like painfully self-serving that like he's saying that he's not going to let them ban it because now conservatives do well on TikTok because just like everything else, they've
Found
infiltrated
that
it and
outlet, yeah.
propagandized,
But also,
Fortnite players.
the way I heard some very well-informed TikToker explain it was that Congress don't have to listen to him, and he doesn't really have much sway with that decision. They're like,
Mm,
"Oh, you like it? That's nice. We're
mm.
still gonna
That's
make a
cute.
decision."
Well, I do like the idea of him not getting what he wants,
That
so
part, that part.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
go
exactly.
down. I'll
sacrifice
go.
TikTok.
I'll go down with the ship. Yeah, exactly.
I'll go down with the ship.
I'll go back to my 1,100 followers and zero engagement on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Thank
If
you
Same.
it
very much.
if it means Donald Trump has one bad morning,
Well, it sounds like he's gonna have another bad morning very soon.
Oh my God. So as she's leaving, she notices that the Phantom notices the Phantom and walks over to him. He grabs her by the arm and leads her to the roof where they see a crowd of people
he
chanting Beef's name.
he channels Tuxedo Mask. He's just standing there with a single rose, like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is funny as fuck. They're chanting Beef's name while they roll his corpse out on a stretcher. They just roll him in a body bag and
That
everyone's
shit's
like,
crazy. That's
yeah.
And Phoenix is like, I want that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's so weird that she just sees that and is just like, I want that power, that fame.
I,
Like,
I
it's like, what the fuck?
I feel like because it's so fantastical, a lot of it doesn't like I said line up thematically or like
Hmm.
really follow through. But that's like the one thing that I think it does get across is like the disposability and like how people will take the wrong lesson.
Hmm.
Like in that world, people will probably be like, Beef was such either they're going to be like Beef was such an incredible performance artist that he wanted his last minutes to be on stage and like he chose for this to happen and that's how they'll
Yeah.
mythologize it,
Yeah.
or they'll be like he was so passionate this thing happened and it was like divine providence and it made him a martyr. Like they're not
Oh
gonna
yeah, for sure. It's
they're
always
not
gonna
gonna
be
be like
yeah.
they're not gonna
Yeah.
be like this guy got murdered and that was fucked up. They're gonna be like it
No,
was
it's always
cool this guy died
yeah.
this way,
It's always gonna
you
be a
know?
spin. Yeah.
Very,
Providence.
very,
Providence.
I told you,
very
I literally just finished that episode on the way home. Or on the way
nice.
here.
Love it.
And I think this is probably IRL pre Gigi Allen because I think he's like late 70s, early 80s. But
Uh
it's
ooh.
like how he really wanted to kill himself on stage. Do you know that?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Pretty, yeah, exactly. Well, it's that and like Darby Crash also had his whole thing about, like his 3-year plan and shit. Like that was a whole fucking thing. You know that one, right, with the germs?
That
That whole fucking
it sounds really
punk
familiar, but
folklore.
I don't know
Yeah.
it off like the top of my head.
It's basically the same thing, but like at less Gigi Allen was more like outwardly destructive. Like his performances were like they affected the lives of other people. And like whereas Darby
Yeah.
Crash was more like very self destructive, very he didn't impose things on other people. It was very much like if this doesn't work out in 3 years, like that's it for me. Like that's all there is left.
So, and then that's why he overdosed.
It wasn't. It's very back and forth if he ever did it intentionally or not. That's they never really have like a whole. There was never like a note or anything. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
yeah, it was a
Yeah,
very.
it's crazy. On Wiki, it just straight up says committed suicide from an
That's what. Yeah,
intentional
that's what I'm
heroin
saying.
overdose.
It's very much like yeah that was his like end game with it and shit. But it was just people were like he was also doing a little bit better. It was very weird to know. Like it's hard to know. You know what I mean? Like what was going through his mind. But I mean, besides fucking shitload of heroin.
Yeah,
uh,
whereas Gigi Allen was just like harmfully mentally ill,
yeah, yeah,
you know?
yeah, for sure. And yeah, and I
Like,
mean that also filters into this conversation too as well though because you're exactly right. It's like you're exactly the wanting to burn out rather than fade away type of shit. You know what I mean?
hmm yeah, and just this crazy, and they even address that in this movie. We'll get to
Hmm.
it, but there is literally a I'm gonna kill myself so
There's
that it can
literally
be part performance,
yeah. Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And all of that, that's where this movie starts uncovering like little more fucking deeper layers and it's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like very trippy how it kind of gets into it. But let's get into it. We're already at the tail end of this one.
Yeah.
So as she's leaving, she notices the Phantom. Oh, well, sorry, I'm going a little bit first. So Swan is pleased with the turnout, despite the death of a rock star, which he calls quite an attraction, like you were just saying.
hmm
Winslow reveals his identity to Phoenix and pleads with her to leave this life behind because they want more than she could ever be capable of giving to them. But she slips away and he runs back down the stairs. She rats out Winslow immediately, so Swan tells Arnold to call the police as they leave. I was like, God damn, bro, you didn't even like she's just like, oh, that weirdo's up on the roof, you know?
The freak
Yeah,
that killed Beef.
The freak that killed Beef is up there. It's like, God damn, girl, like have some
You know,
fucking
the
decency, man.
the freak that killed Beef is a crazy porn name. Anyway,
That's a crazy porn star name.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
Just beef.
You know,
Just
Where's the
beef.
beef?
There's the beef.
Here's the
square
beef.
patties.
Here's-
Square patties. Is that anything?
It is. So back at Swanage, we see the two of them in bed, rubbing all over each other, while the Phantom watches from above through a skylight and sulks.
Paul,
And-
Paul was like, so I'll do this picture if there's a scene where she begs for it.
He begs to bounce on it. So, as things continue to get hot and heavy, Swan smiles, then reaches over and hits a button that begins recording the Phantom from behind. He is so distraught that he plunges plunges a knife into his chest in agony and falls to the floor.
Just the rest of the surrounding context to say that he's filming him from behind is just very unfortunate.
God damn
It's
it.
so weird, bro. He's like way more getting off on the fact that he's watching
He's
them.
watching them. Yeah, that's literally
Voyeurism.
voyeurism, exactly.
This like and also for him to know the exact spot he was gonna stand on to watch them
This is the
is
cuck cam.
Exactly.
it's just absolutely fucking insane. And then we just get a
Oh man.
teleport. He just teleports in this scene. There's like just no other explanation for the timeline here.
That's funny as fuck. Yeah, it is so. Oh my god, it's so good. So Swan arrives with an umbrella to explain that he cannot die while Winslow is under contract, which can only be terminated by Swan himself. Exactly. Thank you. She pulled it up again. It
Just
specifically
have
says
it.
this contract terminates with Swan,
A very pretty note.
as
Yeah.
you'll see right here,
I don't know if you
Exhibit
can see that.
A. So,
Illustrated.
so he tells him to get back to work writing love songs for Phoenix, but Winslow takes the knife and plunges it into Swan's chest. Instead of dying, Swan says, "I'm under contract too," and removes the blade before walking away.
Well, it's funny too because it doesn't even stab him. It just doesn't penetrate his skin. It just like
Like,
like
yeah, it's a little, yeah.
I have it in my notes really quick that there's 17 minutes left of this movie.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. That like you learn everything about the characters like fucking right before the climax pops off. It's
yeah, I
fucking wild.
literally just the timing. I had ended up pausing the movie like at some point
Mhm.
right around here, and I was like, "There's fucking 20 minutes left." I was like, "How?"
Yeah. Seriously.
Quaaludes, you better find out.
Truly the answer to all.
Mm,
Oh, it's so good. So, where am I? Fucking lost in my
I'm under
notes.
contract too.
Yeah. So we get another headline
17
reading.
minutes left. Get it together.
There we go. So we get another headline reading. Swan and Phoenix hitch up during Faust finale on network television. We see Swan, Phoenix, and Arnold arriving at the theater for another performance of Faust. The paparazzi also asking him to confirm if he's going to wear a mask on stage, and they're complaining about that if that's the case. He says,
Yeah, how are we
"Yeah,
gonna get a
like,
picture?
how are we supposed to get a picture? Like, I think they say like that's stupid or something like that." He says, Swan himself says to himself, he's like, "That's actually genius," and that's the way I wrote it. And they plan on changing the ending, where instead of burning in hell, Faust gets the girl at the end, and Arnold is set to play the priest. He's like, "I ain't never been a priest. That's cool."
I think what he actually says is genius. He actually gives Philbin props. He's like, Philbin, it was genius to make it a wedding.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
You're
he's
right. Yeah,
actually
that's right.
surprisingly he gives him So this is something I was thinking about this earlier. It didn't dawn on me till we were talking about the movie, and I was like, I hope I remember to say this, and I did. Um, he owns Philbin's soul too. Remember, Philbin told him,
Mm.
"I sold you the girl."
Oh yeah.
So he has a contract with Philbin as well.
Oh, interesting. God damn, dude. I fucking love this movie.
So that
God
makes me wonder,
damn.
does he have a contract with like every single one of this
The
like
workers that
these
are around.
bikers and all the
Yeah.
like to control everyone so precisely,
Hmm.
you
And
know?
everybody just got the immortality clause too in there.
I guess so. That's like a weird that's a weird side effect of it, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. For sure you can't die.
But yeah, I thought when you mentioned it earlier, I kind of caught that and was like, "Oh, that's like an interesting little layer."
It is. I'm telling you, man. It's an onion of a movie. A very fucking oniony movie. So the Phantom arrives at Swan's office and finds a tape that he had recorded of what he intended to be a suicide due to old age, but instead turned out to be evidence of his own Faustian bargain with the demon.
Well, it's so weird too because they like Tobin Belled him. They should have just thrown him in a fucking backwards hat. Like they cut his hair and we're like supposed to believe
Yeah,
this
yeah,
like
yeah.
40 something year old man is like in the prime of his life. Like there's a woman we see who's like not even that old. She's like maybe in her 40s.
Uh,
She's like the age of Paul himself, the
yeah, yeah,
actual
yeah,
human
yeah.
being. And they're like, "Oh, I went to high school with him." And they're like, "You could be his mother." And she's like, "Oh, well, here's a picture in a
That's
locket of
right. Yeah.
when we were going steady." And they're like, "He looks the exact same." And so it's just like this classic thing where we're supposed to believe this is like how he's always looked, but it's like it's
Mhm.
clearly an old man, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, 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 for sure.
But yeah, he's like, "Oh, my youthful visage is going away." And it's just like, "Bro, you look like the fucking foot fungus monster from the commercials." You know? I can't think of what the fungicide is, but you know, it had that little yellow guy.
Mucus, like mucus sacs or some
No,
shit.
no,
Like, yeah.
Mucinex is for like
It's
congestion, but
for
there
like was it Lotrimin?
Lamisil.
Lamisil?
Lamisil or some shit like that. Lotrimin. Yeah, but it's like this little guy like dives under the toenail, you know? But that's who he fucking looks like. And it's just
Oh,
so
fuck,
funny.
that's good.
And then it says this is where it becomes Dorian Gray.
Yeah, yeah, this is
His
literally Dorian Gray. Yeah.
they're like this image will grow old instead of you. And I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh, so is that supposed to be why he looks old in this video that's supposed to be from, 20 years ago?" But if that's the case, why does he look old now?
Now, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
just it just didn't function the way it said it did.
yeah. She pulled up a reference
It is for Lamisil.
The Lamisil guy.
Yeah.
We got to put that on the
photo.
screen real quick.
Yeah, yeah. Send me that. I gotta fucking.
Okay.
Oh my
That is him.
god. Yeah, it's so
That is
good.
him.
Oh my god, it's
I don't want to
so.
say his name uh for fear
Oh
of
Jesus Christ.
mispronouncing that. Hardar though.
It's so bad.
What is his name?
Digger.
Oh boy.
Hardar.
Yeah, they were
Fucking
inspired
terrible.
that day.
God damn it. I just completely lost the plot of this fucking movie.
Quaalude.
So, Quaalude.
So so anyway, he's we see his Faustian
We
bargain.
see his Faustian bargain, complete with trippy lighting, like like so. Basically, the lighting I fucking use in my photos.
I kind of feel like they missed a step here because it ends up making him like Satan's assistant instead of like I just thought he was Satan. Like I just thought
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, so clearly he just literally is the devil. But then when they were just like, no, but there's an even more literal devil, I was just like, oh, why? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
Sorry.
it's a
But I think
fucking it's a hat
it's
on a hat.
it's also to stress the point that yeah, that it corrupts everybody, that nobody is safe or immune from this, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I think that's what the purpose is of that, is just kind of just showing that like people in general are going to be drawn to make these bargains or like these shitty ass deals, you know?
Hmm.
So anyway, so the tape then switches over to his own blood pact being replayed, then to Phoenix's, and then finally over to a live feed of Swan giving his villain speech to a select few individuals. He plans on
Yeah.
having Phoenix assassinated on live television to make a spectacle of the whole thing.
Well, we see too when he's having her sign the thing. Like I forget exactly what he says, but he's like, "Oh, can't wait for the assassination. I mean, performance tomorrow." And
Oh
she's just
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Why do
yeah.
I got to
So
sign in blood? You're a big
you read
silly."
it, you
Like,
read it, you have it right here. You read off.
So she's like drugged out and giggly, and he's trying to get her to sign. He says, "Come and sign. You don't want to be late for your own funeral wedding, do you?"
Yeah, it's so good.
I took a screenshot.
Oh
God,
man, it's so funny.
Austin has his weird connections that make sense to everybody. I take screenshots.
there we go.
That's
Yeah,
my niche autistic thing.
Every kid with autism. You know how it goes.
It's a superpower. We all
It
have our
is.
special interests. Some have jellyfish. I have screenshots.
According to one of the most recent Predator films, it certainly is a superpower.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Well, we all feel a certain way
We
about
evolved
it.
autism to
Yeah,
fight the predators. Like,
exactly.
Jesus Christ.
I love how inclusive these movies are
Yeah,
getting.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
I feel seen.
yeah. I was
I could fight off a predator without Chris Hansen.
If we told RFK that autism could be powerful against the predator aliens when they show up, he might become pro-vaccine. Well, I wouldn't say any vaccine is effective except in deflecting the forces of the Yaksha when they
Oh my
invade.
God, I have three exact bullet points to get through. Let me get through this fucking
No.
movie.
I wish I could do a better RFK.
So, the Phantom sees another monitor showing the assassin assembling a rifle, which causes him to sprint into action and run over to his location. But
I'm sorry. This is another part where I went, this is camp.
yeah,
When
yeah,
he
where he just
when he
grabs the shit and just fucking like flings it.
he just flings it into the
I
room.
was like, what the fuck exploded, dude? What the fuck
They
happened?
like skipped, like he threw it and they paused and then they fucked the room up and then they unpaused. Like there's
Yeah,
like
they forgot to hit record.
there's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
frames
yeah.
missing for sure. I'm glad I'm not the only one that like noticed that, but he just like hella Bert and Ernie like and then grabs everything and starts like throwing it around the room and then just starts sprinting down the hall like a fucking Muppet. And I was
Dude,
like, this is camp.
but the
This
fucking way that they film it is so cool, man. They show it like it's low angles. It reminds me of like there was a Japanese one. I want to say it was a Miike film that like that we saw. I don't know if we covered it, but like there's a Japanese movie that reminds me of this. It's like there's like a chase scene happening and it's shot really low and there's like an angle like that. Like it just reminds me of this like same like very frantic, very like jerky motion of just filming a scene. It was very fucking cool. It's so
hmm.
cool. I just like I love the way that this like the cinematography just pops off at the end here. They're just like, all right, fuck it, we're exploding everything. Like set them off, boys.
I like referencing Evil Dead when that evil
Yes,
thing just kind of
yes,
comes
you're right.
through the forest.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The fucking yeah, the forest cam.
The
Yeah,
forest
Hmm.
zoomies.
the forest zoomies
Hmm?
exactly.
The
So
the horny tree weed distributor.
yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ, that's so. So as he flings out, or what? Yeah, I don't know what he destroys the tape though. That's what he
Hmm.
throws. Like I don't know what the fuck was exploding, but he just
Yeah,
ultimately destroys the tape.
he just like destroys everything in that room.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I didn't really. Again, I was just like, what the fuck is going
He just
on?
like lifts up the monitor and throws it into that little closet with all of his like files and
Yeah.
videos and everything. So
Yes.
And film is
presumably,
very flammable.
That's fair.
yeah,
Okay, fair. And that you know what? Didn't even that validates a lot of that scene for me. That's crazy.
as as Kyo Anime Studio found out one day several years
Yeah, that
ago.
sucks.
I think I've
Yeah.
talked about that on the show.
I don't think you have. I think that's only been a no, I was gonna say I don't think that's only been a side conversation for us.
Yeah, a guy who was I think he was just mad that they weren't animating the thing he liked, or they was like on a break from it, went to this anime studio with a shitload of like kerosene and just started burning people in the
Crazy.
building, and
That's
they
so
lost
fucked.
like decades of historical like film and footage and
Jesus.
archives
Ugh.
that are just gone forever. And yeah, much to Victoria's point, because film is so flammable.
hmm hmm
So
God, that's
yeah,
so fucked, dude.
it's
Didn't
great.
didn't Warner Brothers also have an incident similar to that, where I think they lost a lot of like archival footage?
Oh, if they did, I don't remember that.
Oh,
That's
That's gonna be
crazy.
an
only
autistic deep
last
dive.
year. Only
Oh,
last year.
really? Literally. Wow. No shit, really.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about this.
I thought there was like an older studio where that had happened.
Wow.
I don't
No
know. Maybe it was
shit.
a
There
fever
were
dream.
there was one there was a Warner Brothers fire a year ago, and then there was one 6 months ago in Rio in
Jesus.
Brazil, and lost in the fire, included in the things lost from the fire, the couch from Friends, the puppets from Gremlins, the doll
Ah,
from Annabelle, the original 66 Batmobile, Harry
wow.
Potter's sorting hat and school uniform, good riddance,
Hey
the
now,
mask
hey
from
now.
Jason.
Just because you haven't gotten your Hogwarts acceptance letter doesn't mean you can burn a school down.
That's
That's only
crazy.
what Hitler would do.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
that well, that's true. That is
Oh
actually
man.
demonstrably true. But yeah, okay, I guess film fires happen. I thought like that would be like the big one, but I guess it happens fairly often, to the point that, like we were saying about Event Horizon, sometimes masters get stored in like salt mines,
Yeah, exactly. We brought that up on that episode. You're exactly right.
just in crazy fucking places.
Yep. So Swan arrives on stage in a mask for the wedding portion of the show, all dripped out. Like we're talking there's a diamond studded fucking mask and like he's in like this white ass suit and fucking I love that the glasses are on over the mask.
His serial killer glasses.
Yeah.
The mask looks like just so flimsy and shitty, and like
Yeah.
it like makes his features more like cartoonized, which just makes him
hmm
look even goofier.
Yeah.
It's like if he just
Yeah.
showed people, and we know now that the reason why is because if people took all these pictures, they'd realize he never ages. But
hmm
you know, obligatory JoJo reference. The author of JoJo, there's like a huge in joke about how he's a vampire, and that's why he writes about vampires. Because if you look at a picture of him from 30 years ago, he looks the exact fucking same.
Does it age?
So it's just like, come on, dude. People, it's
Uh,
okay. People wouldn't get that suspicious that
yeah,
quickly.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh man, that's so funny. I love that the runner on this joke is on the show is JoJo. I love that.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate part of me.
It fits everything though. You're not wrong.
It does, man. It really does.
So the Phantom manages to grab the barrel of the rifle just as the shooter lets off a shot, and the bullet instead kills Arnold, which everyone believes is part of the show. The Phantom zip lines towards the stage and rips off Swan's mask, revealing a mangled, bloody face underneath, which I
Which
didn't
also
understand.
I didn't understand either, because it was
I
supposed
didn't.
to be that he was aging.
No, because the film is burning, so that image of him is
Oh,
burning.
it's burning. That's fuck. That's
Yeah,
crazy. That
I
actually
get
puts that together.
I
I think it's
guess
supposed to be.
That's
I
literally what it is because he doesn't get attacked. He doesn't get nothing. Like it's
Yeah.
literally
I
just.
yeah, it's definitely from the film, but
Mhm.
I was like, well, the devil in the film said, "When this is destroyed, you'll be destroyed," and he lit it on fire quite a while ago, and he never like physically responded. He just took the mask off, and then he was like, "Oh shit, my face is burned." And it was just like,
Yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah, for sure, for sure.
kind of the rules they laid out was destroy this and he dies, and he destroyed it and it didn't kill him. So it was
Well, I
just
think
like,
the rules that they laid out are once you destroy that, he's vulnerable to death. Is that
well,
that's kind
they
of what
said
it sounded like.
he said if the tape goes, you go.
Yeah, when the tape goes, you go. Because of him being stabbed in the chest. He says once the tape goes, that wound open backs up.
No, no, no. It's when he's talking to his reflection. The reflection says he's like this
Oh
image
yeah,
is,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
what image? And he's like the camera behind you. When this tape goes, you will go because
Mm.
it's
I
Dorian
think
Gray.
it,
He's
yeah,
storing his
yeah,
soul in the
exactly.
painting.
I
You
think it
know.
literally is just like, yeah, it just makes him like not impervious to death essentially anymore, you know?
Hmm.
But yeah, either way, Phoenix is confused and scared of him, so she says fuck it, and so he says fuck it and starts choking her out before the Phantom swoops in and begins stabbing him with a dancer's pointed hat.
It's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's
He's just
he's
going
like
for you like what the
he's
fuck?
like, remember you promised me your voice, and it was
Yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
you were just about to kill her. What the fuck? What does that mean?
Yeah, yeah. I think he just loses his fucking mind at the end and just like, fuck it, we ball. So once he starts, the others join in and finish the job. But he also notices that the wound from earlier is beginning to bleed again. And the performers carry his corpse away and keep dancing covered in blood. Swan's corpse. Which is pretty fun. They just fucking immediately, they're just like, yeah, fucking kill his ass. Like, yeah, parading his blood.
Hey, fuck this guy.
Yeah. So the
They just
Phantom,
instantly, yeah, start like taking turns stabbing
yeah,
him.
yeah, and with the dancers' hats is wild. I was like, what the fuck? Because I was trying to find, I was like, what did he grab? Did he grab like a prop or some shit? And then he's just like, nope, just a
Hmm.
dancer's hat. It just fucks him up with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's their like the beak on the bird hat, which is also funny because I couldn't help my immature mind from noticing that their like crow outfits just made it look like they all had enormous bushes. I'm sorry,
Spoilers.
that's just the visual language.
This is that's the language of film, and I'm experienced, man.
He didn't write it. He just pointed out. I was more
It was
tired of
very
all the
unfortunate.
I was more tired of all the bird references. Swan,
Swans,
phoenix.
yeah, Phoenix,
This
yeah,
fool looks
Yeah.
like an owl.
yeah,
Death
yeah. He
label is
totally
a
does look
dead
at
bird.
him. Yeah, yeah, he does look at that. You're totally right.
They kind of went like halfway to fully theming the thing. Where like I was like, leech, oh well, that's an insect. That's yeah, not really a bird. Kind of weird that they didn't
Yeah, yeah,
like
for
name him a
sure.
bird too, you
Like
know?
like
Like,
Winslow Sparrow or some shit. Yeah.
yeah, right.
So the Phantom crawls over to Phoenix while he's bleeding out and rips his mask off, revealing the damage to his face that the record press left. And I also put it funny enough, the black eye makeup from underneath also mysteriously vanishes when he rips that off.
Ah, just like
Yeah,
Batman.
yeah, exactly. Just like
Just
that.
like
Exactly.
Batman. Have you ever seen that? Where they point out like
Yeah, yeah,
why?
all of the black, yeah, of course, because it just makes sense. It's like, what the fuck? Why? Leave it on. So she finally realizes that it's Winslow and holds him as the camera pans out, showing just how true the phrase "the show must go on" is. And everyone's parading, dancing, and having a good time, and that's the Phantom of the Paradise. So yeah, man, I fucking love
What
this
an
movie.
experience.
I fucking love this movie. I absolutely I was floored with it, and I became a new one that I'm 100% throwing on in rotation. I scroll my fucking ratings of it. I'll leave you guys to get to it, but goddamn, man, it's just so much fun. I just didn't know he had made this kind of movie, and I had so much fun with it. Yeah, go
So
ahead.
you hadn't seen this. This was Victoria's pick, basically, or something she had recommended, and so you said, "Do you want to do this?"
No, I think you had talked about it during one of your photo shoots, and you're like, "Oh, somebody brought this up," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that movie," and he's just like, "Well, you're first."
Yeah. Literally, I was like, no one else I knew had really like talked about this movie, and like I'd seen some
It's
people kind of
it's
mentioning it.
weird. It's weird that it's not more well known. I feel like my dad would have liked and probably seen this movie.
Hmm.
That was like one of my first thoughts is like, man, I wish I could bring this up to him because I bet he would be like, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I know
yeah,
that movie. It's crazy. And did you
for
know this?
sure.
Did you know that? You know?
It's one that, yeah, it's one that it has a huge place in a lot of people's hearts. Apparently, there's a documentary called Phantom of Winnipeg that describes solely how the movie has a cult following, specifically in the town of Winnipeg.
That's so weird.
Yeah, like it's a massive following in that town specifically. Like how there's always like Rocky Horror ones kind of popping up every now and
I,
then.
I I remember the first time that they did Rocky Horror at like my local theater.
Hmm.
I was like I was like, oh, that's so strange. I guess people in this town just really love that movie. Like I had no idea
Yeah. You didn't know how deep
like
it
what
actually
it
went. Yeah.
yeah, I was just like, okay, weird.
Yeah. For sure.
Strange
And
thing to be, you
I
know.
also think like on a level too, like this along with like it's not as well known as Rocky Horror. I'll put that, you know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like and then that's like I feel confident saying that, you know what I mean, that it's not as well known, which arguably already makes it better off the bat for that alone. But I think again, there's just so much more interesting things going on here in terms of the costumes, the music composing. You know what I mean? Everything else is just there's so many other things working for it and kind of, you know, stringing this very unique thing along that exists very closely to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. You know, it's very neat.
Mhm.
But yeah, well, you know, we want to get to the ratings.
Yeah, and we rate out of 6 here.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna say that up top this
Thank you.
time.
Thank you. Yes, perfect
I
score
would
is
I
a
would
six.
definitely I definitely thought you were gonna give your rating and then I was gonna have to be like, and by the way,
No. Yeah,
we
I'm
did,
getting better about it.
we did it right.
Yes.
I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. Really, I want to give it like a 2. Talking about it, maybe bumped it up to a 3. It was funner to talk about, but
Yeah.
while it was happening, I was like, I enjoy these songs, but they're
Mhm.
not really doing much in terms of the narrative. Like truly, if you just took the things that pushed the narrative forward, it would be like a 25-minute movie.
Yeah,
You know,
maybe. Yeah.
like there was
Similar to
just
Phantom of the Opera. Like the songs aren't really important. It's the friends we made along the way.
I
Sure.
guess so.
Sure.
And I'm definitely like I'm not super familiar with Phantom of the Opera. I definitely saw it at some point in school, but like
It is actually one of my favorite musicals. I'll put that out
they
there. Yeah.
they all just kind of, you know,
Blend together
I'm
for sure, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I'm more in the details. So and a lot of musicals are like just the vibes
Broad
and
strokes. Yeah, very much.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just not a
yeah.
big vibes guy.
For sure. I
So,
feel yeah. Whereas I am.
yeah.
I'm all about the vibes. So yeah, but I mean, okay, so you said three for that. You're gonna leave that at three
Yeah,
for sure.
I'll be generous.
I feel like maybe even give it another watch, you might like it a little bit more later on down the line. You know what I mean? I'm not saying right away, for sure, not
No.
right away, but I'm just saying.
No. You can't make me. I actually texted him earlier and said, "Thanks for subjecting me to that."
Complete asshole. So,
That's
Victoria,
me.
what do you think?
About Chad?
Yeah, about
Oh,
Don't be
don't
such a
please don't.
Chad.
Please don't.
We'll get into psychoanalyzing you later. It's fine. Um,
Emphasis on the psycho.
yeah.
mhm. Um, I would probably rate this one a real strong 5 out of 6 for me. I do enjoy the nostalgia of it. I like the music. Can't stand Paul Williams' face or his teeth or his voice.
Oh God.
Yeah, those
Just
teeth are
him.
fucking, yeah, those are a lot, man.
When Winslow was like, "I don't want you to tear all my teeth out," I was like, "They're kind of doing you a favor."
Hmm. Silvertooth Kid activities. So yeah, I like the story. I liked all the little little details that you have to actually look for
Yeah.
in the background and looking out for all the foreshadowing. Like there's different undertones happening. And if you're just watching the movie to take it in for what it is, it's a fun time. And it gets really crazy at the end. But if you're looking for like more deeper meanings, um, definitely like a second, third watch might help a little bit. There's an appreciation that can be had, like how I feel for the Beatles. Like I appreciate what they've done for music. Can't stand them.
It's
Um,
fair. That's fair.
so
Yeah.
um, I like this movie just for the storyline and just for um all the little hidden things you get to find.
Mm. So five?
Tis a five.
All right. All right. I am completely floored by this movie. I was in love from the very first second that I saw it. And it is going to be a regular thing that I think I throw on from now and then just to kind of revisit. The music slaps incredibly hard. The cinematography goes even harder. The just the attention to detail, like you're saying, like there's so many things that you could pick apart from it. I think all of that it just amounts to a six for me. This is definitely one that I did not expect to fall in love as hard as I did. And I will say that was the second time watching it it helped that cement that for sure. Because the first time I watched it, it was the same thing. I was like, there's so much shit going on, and I'm not sure if it all makes sense. It feels like it should, but it does. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Quaaludes, but but I just don't like. For me, I did not in any way imagine that a musical was going to be one of my new favorite movies, and that's kind of like, well, especially because like I said, I do love Phantom of the Opera. I really do. I have loved that movie since I was a kid. I love the music from it, the movie, everything about it. Like it's a very solid old timeline or storyline that I feel has just like been done well. You know what I mean? Very well composed, very thoughtfully written, very cool. But
Mhm.
to see this play with that trope in a way that I just didn't think was possible because I thought I'd seen every rendition of like Phantom of the Opera. I thought I'd seen every way that you could tell that story because it's been told so many times. And this being a new way was just kind of like it excited me again. I was like, oh shit, that's cool. I guess you could get really original with that, like and introduce new elements and stuff and thematically play with things and stuff. And that's what I'm saying. So I just think as for like the appreciation of the art that went into this, it's just a perfect movie. And the thoughtfulness that went into, like I said, like the analog area of the music stuff, all of that shit is shot with so much care, and it's so well like it's put on a pedestal for like elevated, like it just looks really cool. It looks really fun. It's everyone's having a great time on screen. You could tell. Perfect movie. Yeah, I love it so much, and I'm very excited to tell people about this one. Very excited to tell people. And I'm glad we are actually able to cover this because it's our first musical. It's our very first, musical we've ever covered. I don't think we've ever done a De Palma film on here, like ever. You know what I mean? Like we've never done, but I'm just saying I didn't think I would ever do one. And like it's just hitting all kinds of firsts for us. So I really am. I'm glad that we're able to add this one into the conversation of the movies that we've covered on this show. Very fucking cool. So yeah,
I
I
think
mean
the
with
only
that.
other musical we can, I think the only other musical we can really do is Repo.
Repo is good. Repo, yeah, she's excited, but we'll have you
I
back. Yeah, we'll maybe have you back on for that one then. Repo is one that just hit at the right time, I think, for every one of us.
I've seen that one with the like how Rocky Horror does like the audience
Yeah,
ones. I've seen a Reaper the Genetic Clone.
really, that would be fun.
It was a lot of fun.
That would be fun. I would love to go see that.
It was with a company called Addicted to the Knife. I don't know if like
That's
they're still
fucking
doing
great,
things.
dude.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome, dude. I love that. Well, okay, well, beyond
What a
that,
name.
do you have anything that you want to plug, Victoria? The floor is yours.
Um,
Tell them where they can get stabbed.
I can't say that anymore. Instagram banned me
Yeah,
for
yeah, that's
that.
true. That's wild.
That's
Literally,
hilarious.
literally got banned because
Have
of
a
that
fucking
word.
sense of humor,
Yeah.
Zuckerberg.
Right.
That's
I got
fucking
zucked.
crazy.
Yeah, just my Instagram probably, tattoos by Victoria with like 8,000 underscores in it. That's pretty much it. Have you heard of my friend's horror movie podcast?
Just fucking.
You know we always be doing that though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I appreciate, and it really, and that's what I mean. I genuinely do mean that. It does mean a lot that you listen to this show and
Yeah,
that you actually give a shit and tell people about this show. That fucking means everything, bro. Like,
I like movies.
thank you. It genuinely means a lot, man.
Well, it's been a pleasure. It's nice meeting you, the one and only
Yeah.
Chad.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
you
yeah, this
too.
is weirdly, yeah, this is the first time you've ever met him.
Yeah, you pull him up on the screen and you're like, "All right, let's get to business."
Yeah,
Yeah.
Not this
no
is
last
my
time.
computer friend Chad.
Yeah.
It's funny doing music and doing this and doing other creative things. Sometimes you find yourself in situations like that where it's like, I don't know these people at all, but now I'm supposed to like perform an hour of music with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just this weird. Oh, well, I guess we're doing this.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
But
exactly.
but
But
then at the same time, I'll be home recording, and I'll be like, God, my girlfriend can just hear my part in this and none of everything else, and it must sound so stupid. And it's just like, just funny the things you get in your head about and that you don't, you know?
I've shown up right at the tail end of Joey recording his portion, and I'm standing outside the apartment door and I could hear the laughing and the talking. I don't know what's happening over here. I'm just got headphones on. I'm just like, oh, he's recording. Let him finish talking to his moving picture box.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. To his pewter friends.
I'll wait.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you for, being a good friend to my Joseph. You know,
Absolutely.
Joey Michelle.
Decorating me.
he means a lot to me, so, be nice to him. Um,
Likewise. Likewise. But after this, I feel like we need to start exchanging pictures of our feline friends.
oh
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
there's
actually.
always cat tax to be paid.
Cat
Let me
so,
see the beans.
so thank you
Yes.
sincerely for coming on. You guys can find it. You want to hit them with the socials? I
I
did it
was
last
yeah,
week. I
yeah,
did it
you did
last week.
yeah, you did a lot of the heavy lift, so that's what I was going to, and then
Thank
we
you. Thank you.
yeah.
I appreciate you. Hit them with
Yeah.
it.
So you can find us on Facebook at the Devil's Work Podcast, on TikTok at the Devil's Work Podcast, and on Instagram at the Devil's Work Pod. We're also on YouTube. You can just search our name, the Devil's Work Podcast. And
There's
if
also a
you,
link in the description too.
yes, and if you want to email, if you want to reach out, if there's something we forgot, something that you would like to add, something we were
Lord
totally wrong
knows there's
about.
something we forgot.
I could really use some backup about how all musicals are terrible, so I'd really appreciate that. We're at the Devil's Work Podcast at gmail.com, and Sideshow has been streaming lately,
Yep.
so you can follow him at twitch.tv/sideshow, spell it
Mhm.
right, PSY,
Yep.
the show.
Thank you.
Yes.
The show. That's good. Yes, yes. I'm going through the Max Payne games right now,
Mm.
replaying those ones. That first one is a fucking doozy, man. Let me
I
tell you
just
that.
I just realized today, I guess at some point they gave out Alan Wake Remastered for like PlayStation
For the
Plus or
PlayStation
something.
Plus, yeah, yeah, most
Yeah, so I
likely.
have it. I
Yeah,
didn't
there you
realize that I had it, and I
go.
was like, oh shit, I wish I would have seen this before I played the second one, but I'm thinking about playing it.
There you go. Do it, man. Get on fucking stream. Let's
Yeah.
do it, man.
I've played it before but now that I played the second game, I'm like, I don't really remember shit about the first one.
But yeah, go check us out over there. We'll also watch movies for the episodes that we cover on the show. Um, yeah, that being said, what are we getting next week? I think that's your pick, right?
Next week we're going back to Japan. I'm
Nice.
addicted to that
It's my
country and
yeah.
and I'm not upset about it. We're gonna be watching a Ryuhei Kitamura joint It's a film by the name of Versus. And I don't want to go too into detail because
For
I really
sure.
want Sideshow to like be surprised when he watches this.
Yeah, I love
Um,
going in blind as it is, so I know nothing about this movie. I'm just excited to watch it and to talk about it.
I'll tell you this much though: the lead actor, so
Hmm.
similar to Japanese Daryl Dixon on the DOA final
Yeah,
episode,
yeah.
Kitamura was in the streets of I think Indonesia or Thailand,
Uh,
and Tak Sakaguchi is the name of the lead. He was participating in street fights for money,
that's
and
fucking
and
hard,
he was
bro.
like, "This dude's a badass. Let's make him a movie star."
That's fucking hard. Oh my God. Okay, I got so hyped on this movie.
Yeah,
Fuck
and
yeah,
he
dude.
made a couple movies with this guy. So depending if you like this, there's another one that we could watch.
Ah, dude, I'm so excited, man. Hell yeah, dude. I'm in that movie. I'm in that like fight movie mode right now. I love it,
Hmm.
man.
Yeah,
So everybody catching hands.
you talking about the raid made me think about
Yeah.
this movie.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're fucking synchronized, bro. That's all it is.
Yeah, so I think you'll like it.
Hell yeah. So you guys look out for that one next week. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much again for being here. It means fucking everything, man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. All right, you guys. We will see you guys in a couple of weeks. Stay tuned. And I don't know, man. Don't don't be a dick when it concerns fucking music and and creative process. I don't know, man. Like that's just ultimately what I got out of this is just like don't be an asshole when you go into business with someone.
Support your friends
Fellas,
that do music.
Yes,
fellas,
sir.
if she doesn't even remember that you wrote the music and she insists on sleeping with the producer,
How do
she's
you how
she's
do
full.
you no, I was gonna say how do you intend for her to bounce on it?
I was gonna say she's for the streets.
All right, you guys. Later.
Bye.